Well, hello there and welcome to the video. Let me start by saying how much I love the PSP. Let's be honest, the PSP library is stacked. Having a vast and varied roster of games ranging from AAA franchises bringing the console experience to the PSP system, all the way to more unique and experimental titles, along with many hidden gems which you may have never even heard of. So this video will be my ultimate list of 151 PSP games that I've enjoyed the most over decades of playing on the system. And just a small backstory to give an idea of my history with the PSP. I own an original PSP 1000 which I bought on the Euro release date over 20 years ago. Yes, I am that old, and I'm still a huge fan of the system. So after buying an IPS Screen Upgrade for my PSP late last year and watching a few YouTube videos on how to install it, I started getting PS Vita videos on my feed. I passed up on the Vita when it first launched, but soon learned that it can play almost any PSP game flawlessly and with upgrades in some cases. So I bought a mint condition PS Vita 1000 with its incredible OLED display and soon got to jailbreaking it, and I can honestly say I now love the PS Vita, which actually has its own impressive library. So let me know in the comments if you'd like a similar video to this which covers the best of the PS Vita library as well. And I've also played tons of PSP games using the incredible PPSSPP emulator, which boasts features like graphical upscaling, faster load times and even online play, and can be run on all major platforms including mobile. So even if you do not own original hardware, there's no reason not to experience these games via the PPSSPP emulator. In this video I will show all PSP games in my top 151 being played on an original PSP with the IPS Screen Upgrade, also on a PS Vita 1000 with its bright and vivid OLED screen, and then finally on the PPSSPP emulator running with 4K upscaling, which breathes new life into these classic PSP titles. So if you're a PSP veteran or approaching the system for the very first time, then hopefully you find a game on this list that you would like to try. And this video has taken an insane amount of time to record, research, script and edit, so if you enjoy the video please like and subscribe, and I promise this will be the only time I ask you to subscribe. Also please consider becoming a channel member for extra perks, as this will help me really commit to these ultra long form videos which I love to make. And if I missed your favourite game then please let me know in the comments, let's have a chat and I'll be checking them games out ASAP. This list may be missing one or two of the established favourites on the system, but I'll hopefully be able to catch them in the Honourable Mentions section later in the video. All games shown here are my own picks and excellent from my own experience, so I do hope you enjoy the picks and maybe catch a few top quality PSP games you've never even seen before. Now with all that being said, let's get into some classic PSP games. Number 1, Burnout Legends. What a great place to start. Burnout Legends is a high-octane racing game that takes the thrill and intensity of the Burnout series and distills it into a handheld experience. The core of the game is all about speed, risk and the exhilaration of taking chances on the road. What makes Burnout Legends truly captivating isn't just the races themselves, it's the way the game encourages you to push boundaries, to drive faster, to be aggressive, and to embrace the chaos of high-speed collisions. There's a satisfying tension in every corner and every straight because you're constantly balancing precision with audacity. Beyond just winning races, Burnout Legends has tons of unlockables to keep you grinding, combining a great mix of the best cars and tracks from across the entire Burnout series. And what really sets it apart is the risk versus reward system. The more aggressively you drive, the more you refill your boost meter, creating a compelling cycle of adrenaline and strategy. The takedown system from Burnout 3 is back, allowing you to attempt to ram your opposition off the road to refill and extend the boost meter. Even when you crash, and you will crash, the amazing aftertouch is carried over from Burnout 3, allowing you to turn disaster into success by steering your mid-air wreck into other racers to fully replenish your boost meter. Also carrying over from Burnout 3 is my favourite mode of all time, Road Rage, where the only objective is to perform as many takedowns as possible before you yourself are wrecked through damage. And the incredible Crash mode, where the objective is to smash into a set piece of heavy traffic and parked cars with pickups and power-ups to rack up the maximum amount of damage, which is converted into a cash total at the end of the carnage. For anyone who enjoys the feeling of absolute speed, tension and thrill, Burnout Legends delivers an exceptional portable version of the Burnout experience that feels complete, rewarding and addictive from start to finish. Number 2. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories. Here we are revisiting Liberty City from GTA 3, rebuilt from the ground up with map alterations reflecting the fact that it's a prequel set 3 years earlier in 1998. A fully voice-acted, open-world crime sim that lets players immerse themselves in a sprawling city filled with opportunity, danger and chaos on demand. All 3 islands are here from GTA 3, along with a large vehicle roster. This game world is gritty, offering countless experiences beyond the main story missions. You can follow the narrative of Tony Cipriani as he navigates the underworld of Liberty City, participating in an organised crime story, building alliances and dealing with loyalty and betrayal. Beyond the story though, as with most GTA games, the real magic is in the freedom the game allows. Players can explore the city streets, steal vehicles, take on side missions or simply observe, or mess with, the city's dynamic life unfolding around them. Rockstar Games really did knock it out of the park in taking the console GTA experience and shrinking it down to a handheld format. Spending time in Liberty City, whether on a high-speed chase or a random diversion, is fully immersive, and Liberty City Stories also has a full set of multiplayer modes set across all 3 islands, technically making this the first GTA with true multiplayer. And as the best-selling PSP game by a large margin, at over 8 million units, Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories should need no introduction, but hey, you just got one anyway. Number 3. Ace Combat X Skies of Deception. So Ace Combat X Skies of Deception is an arcadey flight combat sim that balances exhilarating dogfights with deep strategic engagement. The game immerses players in a world of aerial warfare where every mission offers unique challenges, from escorting allies to engaging large-scale enemy formations. And what makes Ace Combat X truly engaging isn't just the thrill of flying or the adrenaline of combat, it's the sense of scale and strategy inherent in every mission. Players must carefully consider their approach, managing speed, altitude and positioning while reacting to rapidly changing threats. The story also adds another layer of depth, grounding the high-octane action in personal narratives of courage, duty and conflict. Beyond the missions though, progression and unlockable aircraft provide motivation to master the game's mechanics, giving a satisfying sense of growth as players tackle increasingly difficult challenges. Aircraft, weapons and upgrades are unlocked with in-game credits, so choosing your mission loadout and improving over time is a really satisfying gameplay loop. Every mission is scored too, so revisiting past missions with your new equipment to bag that elusive S rank will keep bringing you back to this. Ace Combat X is about more than just shooting down enemy planes though, it's about experiencing the drama and intensity of aerial warfare in a way that's both thrilling and engaging, offering an immersive and rewarding journey for anyone who loves flight and air combat, and I really do. Number 4. Patapon. Patapon is a rhythm-based strategy game that is unique, charming and deeply addictive. At its core, the game is about leading a tribe of tiny warriors through perilous environments using nothing but the power of rhythm-timed drum beats to command, fight and survive. But what makes Patapon extraordinary is how it seamlessly blends timing, strategy and storytelling, and players must pay attention to the beat, issuing precise commands to attack, defend or advance, while also considering the broader tactical situation. The game rewards mastery of rhythm and planning, creating a satisfying loop of challenge and reward. Beyond the mechanics, Patapon's narrative and world building give it a sense of purpose and heart. The journey of these small warriors feels epic, filled with bravery, camaraderie and the struggle against overwhelming odds. The game also fosters a sense of growth as players evolve their tribe, unlock new units and take on increasingly complex challenges. And Patapon's charm lies not only in its gameplay, but in its ability to combine music, strategy and emotional engagement into a cohesive, joyful experience that stays with you long after the game ends. Number 5. God of War Chains of Olympus. God of War Chains of Olympus is an action-adventure game that places players in the shoes of Kratos, a Spartan warrior burdened by a tragic past and a destiny intertwined with the gods. The game is known for its cinematic storytelling, epic battles and intricate puzzles, but what really stands out is the weight of the narrative and the emotional intensity it conveys. Players are constantly challenged to confront enormous creatures and solve environmental puzzles while navigating complex worlds, all while being driven by Kratos' personal motivations and the overarching mythological story. Every encounter feels meaningful, from small skirmishes to epic boss battles, blending strategy, timing and reflexes. Chains of Olympus delves deep into themes of duty, vengeance and sacrifice, giving the action an emotional resonance that elevates the gameplay beyond just combat. The satisfaction comes not only from mowing down enemies but from progressing through a story that feels grand, personal and mythic, making each moment of gameplay both thrilling and profoundly engaging. It's a portable God of War experience that captures the scale and intensity of the series, delivering a complete and immersive adventure on the PSP. Number 6, Fight Night Round 3. So here we have a boxing game that really does capture the intensity of the sweet science. What makes it so compelling is its fine balance of simulation boxing with arcade influences through flashy, slow motion knockouts which pile on the immersion. Every fight here feels meaningful, with the ultimate goal of knocking the other guy out requiring a balance between attack and defense, reading opponents and counter-punching for maximum impact. Beyond the mechanics, the game emphasises the mental aspect of boxing. Patience, anticipation and adaptation are all rewarded, and every match tells a story of endurance and skill, with the ebb and flow of movement reflecting the struggle and determination inherent in the sport. The career mode adds depth, allowing players to experience the growth of a fighter from rising talent to world champion, either by creating their own boxer or choosing from an established roster of legends. Every flattened opponent is a step up in the rankings while trying to earn that precious title shot. So as you can tell, I love Fight Night Round 3, a boxing game with tight mechanics and packed to the gills with content which is perfect for any casual or dedicated boxing fan. Number 7, Lumines. Lumines is a puzzle game that combines music, rhythm, timing and strategy into a uniquely immersive experience. At first glance it may seem simple, but the depth comes from the interplay of timing, planning and pattern recognition. In Lumines you must arrange blocks to form squares of matching colours, but it's the rhythm of the music that drives the flow, creating a captivating and almost hypnotic sense of progression. Lumines is so engaging because it transforms a traditional puzzle format into something dynamic and resonant. Each level feels alive with music and visuals responding to the player's actions, turning problem solving into an artful experience. The game rewards careful observation and quick thinking, offering a satisfying sense of mastery as you synchronise strategy with the rhythm. Beyond its seemingly simple mechanics, Lumines is memorable because it evokes a meditative yet exhilarating state of focus, making each session feel both relaxing and stimulating. It's a puzzle game that doesn't just challenge the mind, it engages the senses, creating a unique and timeless experience that continues to captivate players to this day. Number 8, SSX on Tour. So SSX on Tour is an extreme snowboarding game that blends high-speed racing, daring tricks and open-world exploration into an adrenaline-filled experience, with risk-taking and trick creativity being highly rewarded. Players will navigate massive mountain courses, executing tricks and combos while maintaining speed and control, creating a continuous flow of challenge and reward. The game encourages experimentation, trying new lines, pulling off audacious stunts and chaining moves to maximise them style points. Beyond the gameplay, SSX captures the spirit of extreme sports, emphasising exhilaration, adventure and the joy of discovery. It's not just about winning races and doing big tricks though, it's about mastering the environment, testing your own limits and your style through movement. The sense of progression, whether unlocking new boards, characters or challenges, adds depth and keeps players invested. SSX on Tour is engaging because it combines physical skill, creativity and the excitement of high-speed action, creating a sense of freedom that makes every run feel unique and unforgettable. Some of the tricks in this are just wild. Number 9, Wipeout Pure. Wipeout Pure is a futuristic racing game that emphasises speed, precision and adrenaline-fueled competition. This was the first PSP game I ever owned. Players are tasked with piloting anti-gravity ships across visually striking tracks filled with twists, turns and hazards. What makes Wipeout Pure so engaging isn't just the speed, it's the flow, as players navigate the courses, balancing risk with control. Each race is a test of timing and reflexes, but also understanding the unique characteristics of each ship and track. The game fosters a deep sense of immersion, with music and visuals complementing the pace, creating a cohesive and intense sensory experience. Wipeout Pure rewards mastery, encouraging players to perfect lines, learn to use weapons proficiently, or tactically absorb weapons to replenish a shield to stay in the race, and optimise performance for high scores. It's not merely about reaching the finish line, it's about embracing the thrill of futuristic competition, the satisfaction of skillful execution and the exhilaration of pure speed. This game is very fast, and Wipeout Pure stands out as a real racing gem that combines speed, adrenaline and gorgeous graphics into a deeply engaging and unforgettable experience. Number 10, Monster Hunter Freedom Unite. So Monster Hunter Freedom Unite is an expansive action RPG that emphasises preparation, strategy and cooperative gameplay. Players take on the role of hunters, tracking and battling colossal monsters in richly detailed environments. And what makes this game deeply engaging is the gameplay loop of trapping or killing a monster, gathering items from the monster, and then using that material to upgrade your weapons and armour. Then taking that gear to the next tier of monster hunting quest to gather even higher quality materials to upgrade some more. All weapons and armour have upgrade trees showing what you will need to upgrade to the next level, making your quest choices very meaningful. Encountering a new monster is always epic, and learning its attack patterns, when to strike and usage of the vast array of weapon types and items against it to beat the quest is immensely satisfying. Monster Hunter Freedom Unite also thrives on collaboration, encouraging players to strategize and coordinate with friends to overcome formidable challenges. The thrill of just seeing that massive monster approach and executing a successful hunt creates a sense of accomplishment that is unmatched. Beyond combat, the game immerses players in a world full of exploration, discovery and problem solving, turning every hunt into an epic adventure. It's not just a game, it's a journey of skill, patience and triumph where persistence and strategy are continuously rewarded. And just a heads up, the multiplayer functionality for this game works great on the PPSSPP emulator. I've played it a lot on there. Number 11, Field Runners. I am a massive fan of tower defense games, and Field Runners is a tower defense game that blends planning and tactical decision making into a satisfying and engaging experience. Players are tasked with constructing an array of defences to stop waves of enemies from reaching their goal, and what makes Field Runners so captivating is the freedom to experiment with placement and strategy, as there are multiple ways to approach each level and optimise the defences. As with any good tower defence game, you'll be rewarded for observation and foresight, and you'll be encouraged to anticipate enemy behaviours and adjust your tactics dynamically. In classic tower defence style in Field Runners, each wave increases in difficulty and complexity, making success feel earned and failures instructive. The progression system adds depth, allowing players to unlock new towers, abilities and upgrades, providing a tangible sense of growth and mastery. Field Runners is a game about strategic thinking, adaptability and creative problem solving, with a large array of enemy types and map layouts, delivering a consistently engaging experience that challenges both the mind and planning skills of players. This one is extremely fun. Number 12, Flat Out Head On. And Flat Out Head On is an action-packed racing game that emphasises chaos, destruction and over-the-top fun. And what sets it apart from traditional racing games is its focus not just on winning, but the thrill of crashing, taking risks and interacting with the environment and physics in different ways. Players will be racing across various tracks using speed, precision and clever tactics to outmaneuver opponents, all while keeping an eye on opportunities for spectacular stunts and destruction. Flat Out Head On captures a playful and I dare say almost cinematic sense of energy. Every collision, ramp and crash feels exciting and dramatic, adding to the overall exhilaration. The game comes complete with a fully fledged vehicle upgrade system, and this here is a racing experience where the journey, complete with chaos and unpredictability, is just as important as the destination. There's also a slew of alternate novel game modes, including a massive last man standing destruction derby, which could be its own fully fledged game, to be honest. I just love that destruction derby mode. So yeah, give this one a go. Number 13, Metal Gear Acid. Metal Gear Acid is a turn-based strategy game set in the iconic Metal Gear universe, offering a unique fusion of tactical turn-based gameplay and collectible card mechanics. On the surface, very odd, but it works. Players take on missions that require careful planning and strategic use of cards representing movements, actions and abilities, and has a huge amount of depth in the decision making it encourages. Each turn has consequences and successful execution depends on anticipating enemy actions and optimising your strategies. Beyond mechanics, Metal Gear Acid captures the stealth and intrigue that the series is known for, immersing players in a tense, thoughtful experience where patience and planning are just as important as skill. The fully fledged narrative adds layers of intrigue, espionage and tactical problem solving, creating environments that feel alive and challenging. I love Metal Gear Acid because it rewards strategic thinking, careful observations and creative problem solving, offering a rich cerebral experience that stands out in the handheld strategy genre. And there is a few Metal Gear games on this list, but I can't pass up the opportunity to go Snake! Number 14, Pixel Junk Monsters. Pixel Junk Monsters is a charming yet challenging tower defense game with a twist. In most tower defense games you simply place towers, but in Pixel Junk Monsters players control the hero Tiki Man, navigating the map while placing and upgrading towers to defend against waves of enemies. The player isn't just a passive observer, but is constantly involved in managing, upgrading towers, and responding to threats in real time. This game rewards adaptability and experimentation, pushing players to refine their tactics with each level. Beyond just the mechanics though, the game's cartoony art style, soundtrack and great pacing create an immersive experience that's both relaxing and exciting. With Pixel Junk Monsters being great because it combines accessible gameplay with layers of strategic depth, making it satisfying, replayable and rewarding as players see their carefully constructed defences succeed against increasingly challenging waves of enemies. Yeah, I really love this one. Number 15, Need for Speed Underground Rivals. Need for Speed Underground Rivals is a street racing game that immerses players in the underground racing scene, where style and speed matter. The game emphasises the thrill of high-speed races through urban environments, combined with extensive vehicle customization and the satisfaction of mastering difficult courses. Players are highly encouraged to experiment with the tuning, performance upgrades and driving styles to gain an edge over their opponents, and this game really does capture the culture and excitement of the underground racing scene, where reputation, risk and skill will play a role in every encounter. Races are dynamic with opportunities for daring overtakes, clever shortcuts and dramatic finishes that make mastery feel intense and rewarding. Need for Speed Underground Rivals is engaging because it combines fast-paced action with the excitement of the underground racing lifestyle. Number 16, Star Wars Battlefront 2. Star Wars Battlefront 2 brings the epic battles of the Star Wars universe to life, letting players participate in large-scale conflicts across land, air and space. The game emphasises teamwork and strategic use of different unit types and vehicles, making each battle extremely dynamic. Players can assume the role of the dark or light side, each offering a unique perspective and gameplay style. Beyond mechanics, Battlefront 2 captures the grandeur, tension and excitement of the Star Wars universe, allowing players to really feel like a participant in a galactic scale war. Progression, unlockable equipment and diverse battlefields add depth, encouraging players to experiment and adapt. The combination of immersive storytelling, iconic locations and engaging combat makes Battlefront 2 more than just a shooter. It's a thrilling journey into the heart of a beloved universe where strategy, skill and excitement intertwine seamlessly. And I will take a moment to admit that there's a common complaint regarding shooters on the PSP and its lack of a right analog stick, which does make the aiming awkward on PSP, but if you play any PSP shooter on the PPSSPP emulator, then you can map the aiming controls to the right stick, which smooths out any aiming issues for all the shooters on this list going forwards. Okay, on to the next game. Number 17, Loco Roco. Loco Roco is a whimsical and joyful platforming experience, and in a world of fairly homogeneous game design, the absolute uniqueness of this is a sheer delight. Players control a blob-like creature, rolling and bouncing through colourful landscapes while navigating puzzles and obstacles. The game encourages curiosity, allowing players to approach each level in a relaxed and inventive way, combining simple controls with clever level design, rewarding a player's observation, timing and experimentation, evoking a sense of wonder, transforming even simple challenges into fun, memorable moments. Every bounce, roll and interaction feels purposeful, making it an experience that's as emotionally uplifting as it is entertaining, showcasing the magic of creativity in game design. There really is nothing else like this. If you can think of anything, let me know in the comments, I'll check it out. Number 18, Gottlieb Pinball Classics. I love pinball games, and Gottlieb Pinball Classics brings the excitement of classic pinball machines to a portable format, capturing the tactile joy and precision of the original arcade experience. Players are challenged to hit targets, activate bonuses, and chain combos for huge high scores, while quick reactions and table knowledge are a must. What makes this collection so compelling is its faithful recreation of classic tables, all of which have unique layouts, challenges and character. Beyond the great pinball mechanics, the game oozes nostalgia, combining familiar pinball gameplay with new challenges that reward skill and practice. Gottlieb Pinball Classics balances accessibility with depth, offering casual fun and serious mastery for dedicated pinball players. The thrill of achieving high scores, discovering hidden bonuses, and perfecting each table mirrors the excitement of real-world pinball. And seeing as all these tables are based on real-world tables, this really is a timeless and captivating pinball experience. I know, I said pinball a lot there. Number 19, Tekken Dark Resurrection. Tekken Dark Resurrection is a top-notch fighting game with diverse characters and strategic combat in an intensely satisfying experience, appealing to hardcore Tekken fans and newcomers to the series. Players engage in duels where timing, positioning and knowledge of moves is critical, with every character offering unique abilities, combos and fighting strategies. And Tekken Dark Resurrection has a ton of mechanical depth. Even the most simple of attacks can be combined into complex sequences, and understanding the opponent's style is just about as important as executing your own. Beyond the fighting though, the game emphasises personal skill improvement, making victories feel earned and defeats feel fair, really capturing the drama and spectacle of competitive fighting games, while immersing players in a tense, high-stakes confrontation that challenges both mind and reflexes. Tekken Dark Resurrection is an enhanced and updated port of Tekken 5, which is often considered to be one of, if not the best Tekken ever made, shrunk down to the PSP format, while losing nothing from its home console counterpart. And this is packed to the gills with added characters, stages and balancing over the original, offering an extremely content-rich and profoundly enjoyable handheld Tekken fighting experience. Number 20, Tiger Woods 07. So Tiger Woods 07 is a golf simulation game, and the Tiger Woods series has had numerous numbered entries on the PSP. But I personally think 07 is the best, as earlier versions have had slightly worse graphics and less content, and later entries have had a confidence mechanic which I personally don't like. A personal preference of course, you can't really go wrong with any PSP Tiger Woods game to get your golf fix, but I would say 07 is the best. And for those who have never had any interest in golf in real life, well, neither do I, but I do love playing Tiger Woods games. In Tiger Woods 07, players must consider course layout, wind and shot selection, making thoughtful decisions for every swing. You can create a custom character for the career mode, which allows you to develop your skills, compete in tournaments and apply stats upgrades, giving a tangible sense of growth and mastery. And Tiger Woods 07 does offer both casual enjoyment and a lot of competitive depth. Each hole becomes a test of swing timing and accuracy, as well as planning out each shot to complete each hole in the least amount of strokes possible. And Tiger Woods 07 allows players to feel the excitement and subtle intricacies of golf in a way that's both immersive and rewarding, even without having any interest or getting any enjoyment out of real golf. Yeah, if you've never played a Tiger Woods game, honestly, give this one a try. You might be pleasantly surprised. Number 21, Worms Open Warfare. So Worms Open Warfare is a turn-based strategy game that combines wacky humour, creativity and tactical depth. Players control a team of cartoonish worms and use a wide array of silly weapons and tools to eliminate opposing teams across destructible landscapes. The game demands strategic thinking, weapon knowledge, creativity and resourcefulness, as each weapon choice and movement can significantly impact the outcome of a battle. Sometimes a good or bad turn can shift the tide of an entire round, and matches really can turn into a war of attrition when the chips are down and players start to dig in for the long haul. Worms Open Warfare's charm comes from its whimsical tone and unpredictable scenarios where a single miscalculated move can lead to hilarious consequences. It's a game that balances challenge with entertainment, rewarding both careful planning and inventive problem solving. Worms Open Warfare turns strategy into an approachable, fun and social experience for everybody. Number 22, Def Jam Fight for New York The Takeover. Def Jam Fight for New York is a fighting game that throws players into the gritty underground world of street fighting and hip-hop culture. Players navigate a story-driven campaign while participating in intense one-on-one battles, where character customization, move selection and strategy play key roles. Def Jam Fight for New York has a combination of narrative and action, where each fight carries weight within the storyline and victories feel truly earned. This game is dripping in style, character personality and environmental interaction, giving players multiple ways to approach fights. The career and progression systems have plenty of depth, allowing for growth, mastery and personalisation. blending fast-paced combat with narrative context and cultural flair, creating a handheld fighting experience that is beloved by hip-hop and fighting fans alike. Number 23, Gran Turismo. So Gran Turismo on the PSP delivers a detailed and realistic racing experience, emphasizing driving discipline, perfecting racing lines, good use of acceleration and braking through corners, and the joy of mastering all the vehicles and tracks, containing over 800 accurately modelled licensed cars, each with unique handling, performance characteristics and tuning options, allowing for endless performance customization. The Gran Turismo franchise carries the tagline, "The Real Driving Simulator," and on PSP that motto still stands true. This game is gorgeous, squeezing every bit of juice out the PSP. Gran Turismo has some of the best visuals on the system, and as players compete in increasingly challenging events to develop skill, knowledge and driving techniques that directly translate to success on the track. Gran Turismo encourages refining vehicle setups, perfecting those corners and pushing limits to beat lap times, really capturing the subtle intricacies of driving while delivering excitement, challenge and reward in spades, offering a satisfying journey for anyone who loves cars, speed and tough racing competition. Number 24, The Simpsons Game. The Simpsons Game brings the iconic animated series to life through an interactive, humorous adventure laced with the Simpsons brand of satire. Players can assume the roles of various Simpsons family members, each with unique abilities and navigating levels inspired by episodes and classic moments from the show. If you're a fan of The Simpsons, then this is a must-play, featuring gameplay mechanics and gags which often parody video game tropes themselves, and each level is alive with the wit, personality and humour of the TV show. The game rewards exploration and engagement with its world, creating a playful experience which is comical and hilarious at times. And The Simpsons Game stands out because it merges humour, character and inventive gameplay into a cohesive experience that captures the spirit of the show while offering memorable gameplay moments. Number 25, Daxter. Daxter is a platforming adventure that follows the witty and charismatic Ottsel sidekick from the Jak and Daxter series on his own thrilling journey. The game emphasises exploration, combat and puzzle solving, offering a variety of environments to navigate and challenges to overcome, combining humour, personality and lots of gameplay variety. Every level is dynamic, rewarding both skillful play and curiosity. Beyond the gameplay mechanics, the charming story provides context and motivation, making each encounter feel meaningful and entertaining. And Daxter effortlessly blends action, storytelling and platforming into a cohesive and very fun experience, where every leap, attack and interaction contributes to the overall sense of adventure. The main satisfaction comes from the progression, discovery and the playful spirit of Daxter, creating a memorable handheld platforming experience that is as enjoyable as it is engaging. Number 26, Patchwork Heroes. Patchwork Heroes is a strategy and action game that encourages quick thinking and problem solving. Players control characters tasked with saving a giant airship under attack by removing obstacles and managing resources. And there is a great balance between urgency, strategy and creativity. Patchwork Heroes has a great sense of scale and purpose as the action reacts dynamically to the player's actions. And Patchwork Heroes is super memorable because it rewards ingenuity, adaptability and clever problem solving, turning each level into a satisfying puzzle of action and strategy that challenges both the mind and reflexes. Number 27, Tony Hawk Underground 2 Remix. Tony Hawk Underground 2 Remix brings the over-the-top skateboarding action of the console series to the PSP, delivering both the classic trick-based gameplay and the irreverent sense of humour that made the series famous. Players step into the shoes of a customisable skater or one of the many real-world pro skaters, navigating urban environments, performing tricks, completing objectives and competing in events to rise through the skateboarding ranks. The gameplay is crisp and fast-paced with fluid trick execution and combo chaining, rewarding precision, timing and trick creativity. Players can grind rails, perform flips, and link multiple moves together to rack up outrageous high scores, while the environmental features like ramps, rails, and gaps encourage exploration to find the best trick lines. The game also retains its signature revert mechanic from console versions, enabling longer combos and more scoring opportunities. The missions are structured to balance free roaming skate sessions with goal-oriented challenges, including graffiti tagging, special trick challenges, and story-driven objectives. This variety ensures that gameplay remains engaging whether players are exploring open levels or aiming for perfect scores. The PSP version also introduces unique levels and mini-games not found on the console versions, adding plenty of fresh content to this portable experience. Visually, Underground 2 Remix impresses on the PSP, with detailed urban landscapes, well-animated skaters, and vibrant, expressive environments, while the story remains playful and humorous, featuring exaggerated characters and wild antics, adding charm and context to the main story without detracting from the core skateboarding action. Number 28, Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is a fantastic side-scrolling platformer that emphasises exploration, ingenuity and player expression. Players control Sackboy, navigating imaginative levels while solving puzzles, collecting items and overcoming obstacles. Little Big Planet has a dual focus on play and creation, allowing players to both experience pre-built worlds and design their own. The game's charm, narrative and character design add warmth and lots of personality, making exploration enjoyable and rewarding. There is a lot of fans of this series and a great job was done creating an exclusive PSP version of Little Big Planet. Number 29, Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower. Darkstalkers Chronicle: The Chaos Tower is a 2D fighting game drenched in incredible sprite work that combines fast-paced combat with a diverse cast of characters. Players engage in one-on-one battles where timing, combos and use of character abilities determine success. Casual players can show up and enjoy the action here, while more dedicated players can master the finer fighting mechanics and long combos. Darkstalkers Chronicle features rich character design, lore and style, giving players a colourful and dynamic world of supernatural fighters, where every battle is fast-paced, strategic and satisfying. It's a handheld fighting experience that has a lot of personality, capturing the spirit of the series while offering an extremely crisp and enjoyable fighting experience. Number 30, Crazy Taxi Fare Wars. So Crazy Taxi Fare Wars brings the frantic charm of the arcade original into a portable format that feels surprisingly natural on the PSP. At its core, the game is about speed, efficiency and controlled chaos, weaving through traffic, making sharp turns and finding shortcuts that shave those precious seconds from your run. It's a game built around repetition, but the kind that encourages mastery rather than monotony. One of the greatest strengths of this PSP edition is that it includes content from both Crazy Taxi 1 and Crazy Taxi 2, offering multiple city layouts, different passenger placements and varied traffic patterns. And even though the PSP lacks the licensed soundtrack that defined the original arcade release, the gameplay loop remains strong thanks to its quick pacing and energetic structure. Runs rarely last very long, which makes it perfect for handheld play on the go, making it really easy to jump in, push for a personal best and jump back out. But the charm of Fare Wars lies in its simplicity. You're not dealing with overly complex systems, just fast cars, busy streets and the rush of making seemingly impossible passenger deliveries in record time. It manages to retain the heart of the classic arcade experience while offering enough depth to keep you coming back, trying to perfect routes and improve your rhythm on the city streets. Number 31, Assassin's Creed Bloodlines. Assassin's Creed Bloodlines continues Altair's journey on the PSP, offering a more focused and compact interpretation of the franchise. While it doesn't replicate the massive, sprawling open-world environments of the console games, it preserves the core pillars of the series' stealth, exploration and targeted assassinations. Missions are mainly structured around stalking targets, infiltrating guarded places, and trying to execute objectives with precision rather than brute force. The game's strength lies in how it condenses the Assassin's Creed formula into shorter, more digestible missions that still retain a sense of progression. Altair can climb structures, leap across rooftops, and sneak through enemy patrols in a way that still captures the franchise's identity while being tailored to handheld play. Bloodlines also has meaningful story connections, acting as a bridge between the first game and Assassin's Creed 2. For fans who are invested in the lore, this installment provides insight into Altair's ongoing conflict with the Templars and develops the threads that would later become important in the series. Bloodlines respects what makes Assassin's Creed so beloved: methodical planning, patient movement, and high-stakes execution, all the while reshaping it into a portable-sized adventure that still feels meaningful within the larger narrative. Number 32, Twisted Metal Head-On. Twisted Metal Head-On delivers explosive vehicular combat in a format that feels right at home on the PSP. The game revolves around fast-paced battles where each vehicle brings unique weapons, handling, and personality. The strategy comes from more than just firing missiles though. It's about learning the map layouts, timing special attacks, managing health pickups, and all the while using the environment to your advantage. The arenas are all designed with verticality and hidden pathways in mind, making every match a layered experience. You can discover shortcuts, ambush spots, and narrow ramps that allow for sudden escapes or aggressive plays. Each character's campaign storyline includes the dark humour that the series is known for, adding a narrative incentive to try out the different vehicles and learn their strengths. Multiplayer adds another dimension as well, turning matches into chaotic showdowns where quick decision making and map awareness matter just as much as firepower, maintaining the intensity, unpredictability, and destructive fun that defines Twisted Metal, offering a portable version that's very easy to pick up and extremely hard to put down. Number 33, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep is a standout RPG that deepens the series lore while giving each of its three protagonists, Terra, Aqua, and Ventus, a unique story and playstyle. Instead of telling a single linear narrative, the game invites players to experience events from multiple angles, weaving a layered story about friendship, destiny, and the early origins of the series' conflict. The combat system is one of the game's high points. Rather than relying on fixed moves, players assemble a command deck of abilities, attacks, spells, and special techniques that can be customized, leveled, and combined into powerful new forms, giving each character a personal rhythm in the battle, which encourages experimentation. The battles have a smooth flowing quality that balances speed with timing, and the game constantly introduces new fight mechanics to keep the combat fresh. Visually, the worlds from Disney-themed environments and the original Kingdom Hearts locations capture the charm the series is known for, with each area including minigames, secrets, and optional challenges that help flesh out the journey. Birth by Sleep holds a reputation as one of the most substantial entries in the franchise, because it successfully translates a full-scale Kingdom Hearts experience onto a handheld. From its storytelling ambition to its flexible combat and memorable character development, it's a title that leaves a lasting imprint while showcasing the PSP's ability to deliver a large, meaningful RPG adventure. Number 34, Velocity Ultra. Velocity Ultra is a fast-paced shoot-'em-up that distinguishes itself with its teleportation mechanic, a system that allows players to instantly blink through walls, hazards, or entire sections of a stage. This mechanic changes the game's rhythm entirely. Instead of just dodging and firing, you're thinking ahead and using teleportation not just to survive but to maintain momentum and meet time-based objectives, with every level being designed to test your mastery of the movement. The game rewards efficiency and precision, and part of the appeal comes from replaying levels to improve your performance, blending arcade action with puzzle-like thinking, creating a hybrid experience that feels both familiar and inventive. The visuals, while simple, use clean lines and bright effects to make navigation clear. Combine this with the energetic soundtrack, the game maintains a sense of urgency that keeps players engaged. It's a focused, tightly constructed game that respects the player's skill and rewards persistence. Number 35, Gravity Crash Portable. So Gravity Crash Portable is a retro-inspired shooter that challenges players with physics-driven movement and intricate level designs. The ship you control doesn't move with traditional arcade sharpness. Instead, you're dealing with inertia, gravity pulls, and the weight of momentum. Getting good here comes from understanding how to maneuver through tight spaces without overcorrecting or drifting into walls or hazards. The missions are a blend of exploration, combat, and resource management. You'll be clearing enemies, navigating tunnels, rescuing survivors, and managing your ever-dwindling energy reserves. All the planets have distinct layouts that encourage methodical movement and careful observation. And Gravity Crash Portable has a lovely fusion of classic arcade challenge with modern polish. The neon visuals and crisp effects give the game a unique and vibrant identity, and offers up enough challenge that's going to keep you coming back time and again. Number 36, Colin McRae Rally 2005 Plus. Colin McRae Rally 2005 Plus is a rally racing game that focuses on discipline, precision, and understanding the unique demands of each track type. Unlike arcade races, rally driving is about reading terrain, responding quickly to pace notes, and knowing when to push and when to hold back. The game's realistic physics encourages a methodical approach, with gravel, mud, snow, and tarmac all feeling very distinct, and the slightest overcorrection can cost you precious seconds. This PSP version does a remarkable job of capturing the essence of rally driving in a portable format. The career mode is well paced, gradually introducing players to more challenging events and new vehicles, rewarding the players who take the time to learn the handling characteristics and improve on unfamiliar terrain surfaces. Time trials and single stage challenges give opportunities for the perfectionists to whittle down their times to absolute perfection. And what makes this game really stand out on the PSP is its authenticity. Instead of overstating the spectacle, it focuses on the core of rally racing, the relationship between driver, road and machine, respecting the sport's nuance, offering a rewarding experience for players who appreciate precision and a more realistic style of driving. Number 37, Jeanne d'Arc. Jeanne d'Arc is a hidden gem cult classic tactical RPG that blends historical inspiration with fantasy elements, creating a unique reimagining of Joan of Arc's story. If you love Final Fantasy Tactics, then you'll love this game. Jeanne d'Arc takes place in a stylized version of medieval France, where players lead a small party of characters through grid-based battles that emphasize positioning, timing, and resource management. And what makes Jeanne d'Arc stand out is its accessible yet deep gameplay. The mechanics are easy to grasp, but mastering them requires planning and a clear understanding of each unit's strengths. The game introduces a clever skill system that lets characters learn abilities through equipable stones, allowing for flexible customization. This system lets you tailor a character towards offense, support, or more of a hybrid role, along with a transformation mechanic which allows certain characters to temporarily enter a powered up state, which adds dramatic tension and creates moments where the momentum of a fight can shift with the right tactical choice. Outside of combat, the narrative balances great storytelling with lighter character moments, bringing tons of personality to the journey. The art direction gives the game a warm, storybook feel, while maintaining enough seriousness to honour the themes of courage and sacrifice. Number 38, The Sims 2. The Sims 2 on PSP takes the familiar life simulation concept and gives it a quirky narrative twist, unlike the open-ended sandbox structure the main series is known for. This PSP version includes a story-driven mode where players interact with residents of Strangetown, uncovering secrets, solving odd problems, and managing social relationships through branching dialogue. Kinda like a blend of The Sims, creative customization, and a light adventure game. Players will still need to manage needs like hunger, hygiene and social comfort, but the game rewards you for how well you balance these routines while progressing through the story chapters. Customizing your sim remains a highlight, choosing traits, outfits and decorations that reflect your playstyle. There's a unique charm to this in how offbeat and unpredictable interactions can be, with characters responding very differently depending on your choices. You're encouraged to talk to everyone, try different approaches to problems, and take advantage of your Sims personality traits to access new dialogue options. It's not the traditional Sims formula, but that's part of what makes the PSP version memorable. It's a compact, humorous, and slightly surreal take on the franchise that fits well on a handheld, offering short bursts of play with tons of personality. Number 39, Ape Escape on the Loose. Ape Escape on the Loose brings the playful chaos of the original Ape Escape to the PSP, offering a very light-hearted adventure centred around catching mischievous monkeys across varied stages. The levels are designed like small playgrounds, filled with secrets, puzzles and interactive elements that encourage you to experiment with the gadgets and tools. Each monkey has its own behaviour, some run, some hide, some attack, and part of the fun comes from observing their patterns before making your move. You travel to themed areas, ancient ruins, snowy fields, futuristic bases, and use a collection of inventive gadgets like the net, radar and slingshot to track and capture monkeys. The PSP controls, while limited, do adapt these tools quite smoothly, making the game accessible without losing any of its playful spirit. The humour is ever present, from the monkeys' exaggerated reactions to your attempts to catch them, and Ape Escape on the Loose works so well on the PSP because it breaks the objectives down into manageable chunks, letting players tackle a level or two at a time while on the go. The game's blend of exploration, lightweight puzzle solving, and the overall whimsical atmosphere makes it a fitting introduction to the series and a great PSP title. Number 40, Dynasty Warriors Volume 2. Dynasty Warriors Volume 2 takes the hack and slash formula the series is known for. Large crowds of weaker enemies with the odd boss character thrown in to challenge your abilities, featuring flashy combos and overarching battlefield objectives. The game lets you choose from a broad roster of iconic characters, each with distinct movesets that reward aggressive but strategic combat. The moment-to-moment gameplay focuses on clearing groups of soldiers, capturing bases, and reacting to the dynamic battlefield events. And the missions in this are broken down into smaller, bite-sized segments. Each map is divided into zones that load in separately, allowing the PSP to handle the action without overwhelming the hardware. It also makes gameplay feel more modular, perfect for short sessions, but still offering enough content to sink tons of hours into. Progression is steady, with characters gaining new weapons and stats as they fight through the historical campaigns, loosely based on the Chinese romance of the Three Kingdoms. The repetitive nature of the combat weirdly becomes part of its gameplay loop. The satisfaction in slowly carving a path through the enemy forces and watching your hero grow stronger over time. And Dynasty Warriors Volume 2 succeeds because it respects the strengths of the franchise while adjusting it intelligently for more portable play. It delivers the scale and spectacle fans expect, but packages it in a way that suits on-the-go gaming. Number 41, Juiced Eliminator. Juiced Eliminator is a street racing game that blends competitive driving with a strong focus on car customization and risk-reward mechanics. The game takes place in a world where reputation matters. Winning isn't just about finishing first, it's about racing cleanly, building alliances and knowing when to push your luck in the betting system. Races vary from traditional circuits to point-to-point challenges, each requiring different driving styles. Cars feel noticeably distinct, and fine-tuning your vehicles becomes part of the process, allowing players to gradually improve handling, acceleration and top speed. Visual customization adds flair and personality to your garage, giving each car a distinct identity. And the betting mechanics add tension to every event. You can wager against opponents, doubling down on your skills or playing conservatively depending on your confidence. Over time you build relationships with rival crews, unlocking new challenges and earning respect within the underground racing scene. So to sum up, Juiced Eliminator offers more than arcade racing. It creates a competitive environment where decisions off the track matter just as much as your performance on the road. Number 42, Retro City Rampage. Retro City Rampage is a fast-paced open-world parody game that blends retro aesthetics with chaotic action and sharp humour. The entire experience is a love letter to the 8-bit and 16-bit eras, filled with references to classic games, pop culture and exaggerated versions of action movie tropes. What makes this game so amazing is how quickly it shifts between gameplay styles like shooting, driving, platforming and mini-games while keeping everything tied together with witty writing. The open world is dense with activities, missions and side distractions, or simply roam freely, causing mayhem wherever you go. The controls are responsive, and the retro soundtrack enhances that nostalgic feel. Retro City Rampage succeeds not by reinventing a genre, but by celebrating a wide variety of them. It creates a compact but content-rich experience that invites players to explore and enjoy its energetic tongue-in-cheek approach to classic game design. Number 43, Parappa the Rapper. Parappa the Rapper on PSP brings one of the earliest rhythm game classics back with updated visuals and portable convenience. The game follows Parappa as he raps his way through everyday scenarios, like learning karate, getting a driver's license, and preparing for a date, each presented as a musical stage where players tap buttons to match lyrical patterns and musical cues. The charm of Parappa lies in its visual presentation and art style. The flat paper-cut aesthetic gives the game a warm, whimsical feel, and the music is catchy and playful, with each rap battle featuring memorable lines and upbeat melodies. This PSP version enhances the original game's clarity without altering its distinctive look and feel, and the gameplay challenge comes from following rhythmic sequences closely, paying attention to both the beat and the instructor's patterns. While it's simple on the surface, achieving them higher rankings requires consistent timing and a feel for the musical groove. Parappa the Rapper remains a significant piece of gaming history because it helped establish rhythm games as a genre. And on the PSP it serves as both a nostalgic throwback and a fun, approachable music game that is excellent in short sessions. Number 44, Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus. Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops Plus is a unique entry in the Metal Gear series, designed as an expansion to Portable Ops, but also functioning as a fully standalone tactical experience. Rather than focusing on a traditional narrative campaign, this version focuses on strategic missions, squad building, and replayable operations built around stealth and planning. The core idea revolves around assembling a team of soldiers, each with different skills and stats that affect how you approach objectives. Recruiting characters, whether through capturing enemies or discovering special units, becomes a major part of this game's appeal. The mechanic encourages scanning enemies, as certain troops excel in infiltration while others handle weapons, reconnaissance, or specialised tasks more effectively, which you may want to use to improve your own roster. Gameplay is broken down into shorter missions, making it well suited for handheld play, with operations ranging from stealth infiltration, timed objectives, target eliminations, and survival challenges. Portable Ops Plus adds new maps, expanded soldier classes, and tougher AI squads that ramp up the difficulty and reward thoughtful team composition. There's a competitive aspect as well, with multiplayer features allowing players to test squads against others. Portable Ops Plus stands out because it really leans heavily into the strategic side of Metal Gear, and it's a title that encourages lots of patience and planning, offering a different but intriguing angle on the quintessential Metal Gear Solid stealth action formula. Number 45, From Russia with Love. From Russia with Love brings one of the most iconic James Bond films to life in an action-focused adventure that blends shooting, driving and espionage. It's notable for actually featuring the voice and likeness of Sean Connery, giving the game an authentic 007 atmosphere that captures the feel of classic Bond. The story follows the beats of the film while expanding them, with additional missions and action sequences designed to suit a more modern gaming structure. Gameplay is divided up into varied missions that mix third-person shooting, gadget use and cinematic set pieces. And the controls encourage a blend of direct combat and clever thinking, with gadget options like the Q-copter, grenades and miscellaneous spy tools adding layers to encounters. The game's driving missions, featuring car chases and vehicle combat, bring a welcome change of pace, reinforcing the sense that you are stepping into the role of Bond during one of his most famous eras. Number 46, Shinobido Tales of the Ninja. Shinobido Tales of the Ninja is a stealth action game that places a strong emphasis on freedom, improvisation and player-driven tactics. And it's made by the team that created the legendary Tenchu series, so if you like them games, then you'll feel right at home here. You take on the role of a skilled ninja, completing missions for various clans, with choices that influence alliances and shift the political landscape of the story. This structure gives the game a dynamic feel, encouraging you to decide which factions to support and which ones to undermine. Players infiltrate enemy compounds, steal documents, eliminate targets or rescue hostages while avoiding detection. And the movement system supports jumping, climbing and using shadows to your advantage, giving you a toolkit that feels versatile without being overwhelming. Shinobido's flexible mission structure is its standout feature. Because each faction can rise or fall based on your actions, new missions and objectives will appear dynamically. This keeps the gameplay fresh and gives the world a reactive quality rarely seen in handheld stealth games. The PSP's compact mission structure works in its favour, making it easy to complete objectives in quick sessions without losing the flow of the story. And overall, Shinobido Tales of the Ninja offers a thoughtful, atmospheric stealth experience where player choice and tactical freedom always takes centre stage. Number 47, Need for Speed Most Wanted 510. Need for Speed Most Wanted 510 adapts the popular console racing game into a handheld format that emphasises car modification and a competitive career structure. The core appeal lies in the cat and mouse dynamic between racer and police, with many events built around escaping patrol units, outmanoeuvring roadblocks and using the environment to create distance during the high-speed chases. The career mode also introduces the blacklist system where players take on rival racers one by one, earning reputation and unlocking faster cars as they climb the ranks. Races vary between circuit events, sprints, checkpoint challenges, and pursuit-based missions that test both pure driving skill and the ability to handle pressure when police interference escalates. Car customization remains an important part of progression, as upgrading performance parts noticeably affects handling and acceleration, letting players really tailor vehicles to their racing style. While the PSP version naturally scales down the open world structure of the console game, it compensates with a tighter, more focused mission design that keeps the action constant. What makes Most Wanted 510 stand out is how well it manages to capture the tension and excitement of pursuit racing in a portable setting. It delivers satisfying speed, consistent progression, and enough challenge to keep players engaged throughout the campaign. Number 48, Pursuit Force. Pursuit Force is an action racing hybrid that blends driving with combat in a fast-paced and exaggerated style. You play as a member of an elite police unit tasked with taking down gangs through a series of missions that involve car chases, shootouts and mid-race vehicle hopping. The game's unique mechanic, which is jumping from your moving car onto an enemy vehicle, adds a really nice cinematic flair that sets it apart from traditional races, with missions being varied, including pursuits, escorts, takedowns and timed objectives. Pursuit Force requires fast reactions and aggressive tactics, constantly pushing you to balance driving with shooting and quick decision making. The enemy vehicles behave unpredictably, which adds to the action and urgency, and as you progress, new vehicles, weapons and abilities unlock, expanding your options and giving each mission a different flavour. Boss encounters elevate the experience further, introducing high-stakes showdowns that require both driving skill and combat awareness, with Pursuit Force thriving on its energy and creativity. It delivers arcade-style excitement wrapped in an over-the-top police action theme that feels unique to the PSP, with it being the kind of game that constantly pushes forward with intensity and leaves little room for downtime, making it one of the more memorable action titles on the system. Number 49, Scarface Money, Power, Respect. Scarface Money, Power, Respect takes a strategy-driven approach to the Scarface license, focusing on territorial control, resource management and tactical decision-making rather than direct action. The game blends turn-based strategic planning with real-time combat scenarios, emphasising your economic growth as you build an empire from the ground up. Players negotiate deals, manage finances, recruit enforcers and expand their operations across different neighbourhoods. Each territory presents challenges with rival gangs, fluctuating markets and the need to strengthen your organisation through wise investments. When conflicts arise, they play out in real-time tactical battles where positioning, timing and squad buffs matter more than brute force. And this interplay between strategy and action gives the game a nice layered identity. You can choose to grow your influence through careful planning or aggressive expansion, and each approach carries risks and rewards. The game captures the atmosphere of the Scarface world by focusing on ambition, power shifts and the high stakes of the criminal underworld, with this PSP adaptation standing out because it's not a typical movie licensed action game. It's a surprisingly thoughtful strategy title that rewards patience, planning and smart allocation of resources. For players who enjoy management systems and tactical progression, Scarface offers a surprisingly deep handheld experience. Number 50, Snoopy vs the Red Baron. Snoopy vs the Red Baron is a charming aerial combat game that puts players in the pilot seat of Snoopy's iconic doghouse as he imagines himself taking part in World War I air battles. The game blends simple flight mechanics with arcade-style dogfighting, creating an experience that's light-hearted but genuinely well designed. The missions include escort objectives, bombing runs, aerial skirmishes and defensive operations, and the controls are smooth and forgiving, allowing players to focus on manoeuvring, targeting and timing shots without dealing with overly complex flight physics. This game is approachable for players of all ages while still offering enough depth to keep things interesting. The presentation is full of Peanuts charm, characters like Woodstock, Linus and Charlie Brown appear in story segments, and the game mixes historical themes with the series' iconic humour. The environments are all colourful and varied, from open skies to battlefield trenches, giving battles a tremendous sense of scale. And what makes Snoopy vs the Red Baron so special is the balance it strikes between accessibility and fun. It captures the imaginative spirit of Snoopy's fantasies while providing polished, enjoyable gameplay that works perfectly in shorter handheld sessions. And all in all, it's a joyful, surprisingly engaging flight game that remains one of the PSP's real hidden gems. Number 51, Silent Hill Origins. Silent Hill Origins brings the psychological horror of the franchise to the PSP in a way that captures the unsettling atmosphere the series is known for. You play as Travis Grady, a truck driver who finds himself drawn into the eerie, fog-covered town of Silent Hill. The narrative focuses on personal trauma, memory and the thin boundary between reality and nightmare elements that define the series. Buildings feel claustrophobic and maze-like, inviting players to search every corner for clues, items and story fragments. The combat leans into vulnerability, weapons break, space is tight and enemies can overwhelm you if you're not careful. The combination of grainy lighting, unsettling sound design and the ever-present fog creates tension in every empty room. The soundtrack helps amplify this feeling, shifting between ambient dread and emotional tracks that highlight key story moments. With Silent Hill Origins respecting the tone of the series without feeling watered down for handheld play, offering a fully fledged psychological horror experience that maintains its weight and intensity, making it one of the most memorable horror titles on the system. Number 52, Killzone Liberation. Killzone Liberation takes the Killzone universe and shifts the perspective to that of an isometric tactical shooter. Rather than following the typical first-person formula, this PSP installment focuses on precise movement, cover usage and strategic planning. You play as Jan Templar, leading operations against the Helghast forces across a series of missions that emphasise coordination and situational awareness. Players move from cover to cover, selecting angles carefully and using a mix of firearms, explosives and squad commands. The missions are designed with multiple paths and objectives, giving you freedom in how you approach each scenario. AI companions can be directed to attack, hold positions or support you, adding an extra layer of tactics into the mix. As you progress, upgrades and secondary objectives reward careful exploration and replaying missions to perfect strategies, and visually this game pushes the PSP to the limit, delivering detailed environments and smooth animations that make encounters feel energetic and impactful. The world feels gritty and grounded, matching the tone of the Killzone universe while fitting perfectly with the isometric perspective. This title remains one of the best tactical shooters on the PSP because of its tight controls and polished mission structure, and it's a standout example of adapting a console franchise to a handheld in a way that feels both fresh and faithful. Number 53, Mercury Meltdown. Mercury Meltdown is a puzzle game built around guiding a blob of liquid mercury through maze-like stages filled with obstacles, hazards and switches. You tilt the environment rather than controlling the mercury directly, making movement feel smooth, dynamic and occasionally unpredictable. It's a concept that blends physics, timing and spatial awareness into a satisfying flow. Each stage introduces new mechanics, including coloured gates, split paths, conveyor belts and other interactive elements that force players to plan their movements and anticipate the momentum. The mercury itself can change shape, split into multiple blobs or absorb colours to solve specific puzzles, with these mechanics creating variety without overwhelming players, allowing the game to maintain a consistent flow throughout, with levels gradually increasing in complexity without the game feeling punitive. Instead, it encourages players to experiment, restart quickly and refine the approach. The bright, stylized presentation adds a playful tone that contrasts nicely with the puzzle depth and precision required. And Mercury Meltdown on the PSP runs super smooth and offers tons of content, making it easy to pick up for short play sessions while still being engaging enough for extended runs. The game is polished, clever and quietly addictive in an enjoyable puzzle experience that's perfectly suited to handheld gaming. Number 54, Soul Calibur Broken Destiny. Soul Calibur Broken Destiny brings the fast weapon-based combat of the Soul Calibur franchise to the PSP with impressive accuracy. The game features a diverse roster of characters, each equipped with unique fighting styles, weapons and combos that reward both precision and creativity. Despite being on a handheld system, the fluidity of movement and responsiveness of attacks remains consistent with the console experience. The game also offers multiple modes that cater to the different play styles. Quick battles are perfect for fast sessions, while training modes help players refine timing and execution. And one of my favourites is the Gauntlet mode, which introduces comedic scenarios and challenges that mix tutorial elements with quirky storytelling, making it a nice fun detour from traditional fighting structure. Mechanically, Broken Destiny remains true to the franchise's balance between accessible controls and deeper techniques. Horizontal strikes, vertical attacks, sidesteps and guard impacts all return, giving experienced players room to master spacing and counterplay. The PSP's controls adapt surprisingly well, and characters feel distinct and satisfying to use. Visually, the game is beautiful, with highly detailed models and animations that maintain the series' high production value, capturing the theatrical, weapon-driven combat that Soul Calibur is known for while delivering a stable and enjoyable portable experience, providing a polished fighting game that feels both competitive and extremely approachable. It's lively, engaging, and full of variety, which is an excellent fit for fans of the series and newcomers alike. Number 55, God Eater Burst. God Eater Burst is an action-heavy hunting game where players face massive creatures known as origami using customizable weapons called God Arcs. The game blends fast movement, combo-driven melee combat and ranged attacks in a style that's more aggressive and kinetic than many hunting titles. Missions are structured around defeating powerful enemies, gathering materials and upgrading gear to take on tougher threats. God Arcs are the standout mechanic. These living weapons can shift between melee and gun forms, giving combat a very dynamic rhythm. Players can slash, shoot, defend and use special abilities depending on the loadout. This flexibility encourages experimentation and makes each hunt feel different based on the weapon style chosen. The story explores themes of survival, loyalty, and the bond between members of an elite unit known as the God Eaters, and the character interactions are woven into missions and the headquarters sequences, making the narrative personal and giving emotional weight to progression. Structurally, the game offers a long campaign with plenty of side missions, difficulty tiers, and weapon evolution paths. The battles are fast-paced, the controls are responsive, and the PSP handles the action remarkably well even during large-scale encounters. God Eater Burst has speed, style, and a sense of progression not usually seen in other handheld titles, making it an energetic hunting experience backed by memorable characters and very strong narrative threads. Number 56, IL-2 Sturmovik Birds of Prey. IL-2 Sturmovik Birds of Prey is a World War II flight combat game that balances accessible controls with authentic aerial combat scenarios. Players take part in historical battles across Europe, piloting fighter planes and bombers in missions that range from dogfights to escort operations all the way to bombing runs. The game captures the intensity of air combat while remaining smooth and manageable, even on a handheld system. The campaign is structured around major wartime events, offering mission variety and a steady progression in difficulty. Each aircraft has its own handling characteristics. Some turn quicker but lack firepower, while others are heavier and hit harder. This makes choosing the right plane for each mission an important decision. The combat here is exhilarating, with enemies engaging in dynamic maneuvers, evasive rolls and coordinated attacks. Managing your altitude, speed and positioning becomes crucial, giving battles a very nice tactical edge. The bombing missions also add another layer of complexity, requiring players to line up targets and carefully control descent before unloading that explosive cargo. Visually, IL-2 performs well on PSP with clear skies, smoke trails and quite busy environments that add up to the immersion. Birds of Prey offers an ambitious and atmospheric air combat experience that feels extremely polished and engaging even within the limits of the PSP hardware. Number 57, Need for Speed Carbon Own the City. Need for Speed Carbon Own the City adapts the street racing formula into a story-driven handheld experience centered around reclaiming territory from rival crews. Instead of repeating the console version's Canyon Jewels, this PSP entry focuses on urban racing and team-based mechanics that give the gameplay its own identity. You build a crew of racers, each providing different benefits during races, which can include drafting boosts, blocking rivals, or even scouting shortcuts, letting you influence the flow of a race beyond your own driving. Events include sprints, circuits, drift challenges, and unique crew-based races that really emphasise the teamwork. The story unfolds through comic-style scenes that highlight rivalries, betrayals, and alliances. As you win races, your influence spreads, unlocking new districts and even tougher opponents. And in this one, car customization remains central, with plenty of performance upgrades and visual modifications to tailor vehicles exactly to your style. The game has a strong sense of speed, with tight controls that balance arcade handling and challenge. PSP hardware limitations don't hinder the experience at all. In fact, the compact city layout makes races feel even more fast-paced. Need for Speed Carbon Own the City stands out as one of the more unique handheld spins on the franchise, delivering strong progression, memorable crew mechanics, and satisfying street racing tailored to portable play. Number 58, Prince of Persia Revelations. Prince of Persia Revelations is based on the console version of Prince of Persia Warrior Within, delivering the fast, acrobatic movement, combat and puzzle-driven exploration in a dark, intense setting. You play as the eponymous prince, navigating labyrinthine environments filled with traps, enemies, and the time-bending mechanics that have come to define the series. The platforming here is the highlight, running along walls, swinging across gaps, climbing structures, and pulling off fluid movement chains that make exploration feel like a rhythm game of precision and timing. Combat mixes quick strikes, counters, and acrobatic attacks, encouraging players to stay mobile and use the environment to their advantage. Revelations also includes additional content not found in the PS2 version, giving PSP players new areas and challenges that expand the adventure. These additions integrate well with the existing structure, offering more opportunities to test the player. The time manipulation mechanic here remains central to the experience, where rewinding gives players a chance to correct mistakes, while other time powers enhance combat and puzzle solving. This feature adds a safety net that makes gameplay less punishing and platforming more enjoyable. Despite the hardware limitations, the game captures the flow of Warrior Within, delivering a dense, challenging adventure that feels substantial even for a handheld title, with Prince of Persia Revelations being a strong example of cinematic action platforming translated successfully to the PSP. Number 59, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII. Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII serves as a prequel to one of the most iconic RPGs ever made, focusing on the story of Zack Fair, an earnest, spirited soldier whose journey connects directly to Cloud, Sephiroth, and the events that shaped the Final Fantasy VII universe. Crisis Core has a great blend of personal storytelling, high-energy combat, and emotional weight, all wrapped in a production that squeezes every last bit of power out of the PSP. And the game's core is its narrative. It follows Zack's rise within Soldier, his relationships with characters like Angiel and Aerith, and the looming tensions inside Shinra. The story balances lighter, hopeful moments with dramatic turns, all leading towards a conclusion that many fans consider one of the most impactful in the series. It's a character-driven tale that deepens the Final Fantasy VII world in very meaningful ways. The combat here is fast and action-oriented, with players dodging, attacking, and unleashing abilities in real time. The digital Mind Wave system adds an element of unpredictability, randomly triggering limit breaks, stat boosts, and character memories that tie gameplay and story together. The result is a battle system that feels unique, energetic, and visually striking. Crisis Core also features a large selection of optional missions, letting players earn materials, gear, and summons while building Zack's strength. These side missions are perfect for portable play, offering quick sessions that still contribute to the game's progression. Crisis Core remains as one of the PSP's most defining titles, beloved for its emotional impact and polished presentation. Number 60, Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars. Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars brings the GTA formula to the PSP with a unique overhead perspective and an emphasis on fast mission-based gameplay. Rather than attempting to replicate the fully 3D urban sprawl of Liberty City Stories or Vice City Stories, this entry focuses on tight controls, snappy action, and a stylized visual presentation that feels both modern and classic. Players take on the role of Huang Li, navigating a story full of crime, double crosses, and criminal hierarchy struggles. The narrative is all delivered with humour and a bold comic book flair, leaning heavily into sharp dialogue and exaggerated characters. The gameplay is quick and varied, with missions frequently changing structure, from car chases and shootouts to mini-games involving safe cracking, bomb assembly, and drug trading. One of the standout mechanics that I love about this game is the drug economy system, which lets players buy and sell different substances across the city to earn profit, a feature that adds an engaging layer to the open world. Driving and movement feel very fluid, benefiting from the game's camera angle and clean visual style. The city remains lively and full of opportunities for chaos or exploration without overwhelming the player. And Chinatown Wars stands out because it adapts the GTA experience intelligently for handheld play, focusing on those fast missions, high replay value and creative game mechanics. It's one of the smartest, most unique GTA titles, and it fits perfectly on the PSP. Number 61, Super Stardust Portable. Super Stardust Portable is a fast-paced twin-stick shooter focusing on surviving waves of enemies while blasting asteroids, collecting power-ups and managing threats from all directions. Its simple foundation gives way to a surprisingly addictive arcade experience built on precision and momentum. Each stage features spherical planets that players fly around, creating a constantly shifting battlefield. Enemies come in varied patterns, some swarming, some darting aggressively, and others orbiting in predictable but dangerous routes. The asteroids break into fragments when destroyed, adding layers of movement to keep track of. The game revolves around weapon upgrades, and the firepower evolves based on how well you survive and how strategically you pick up enhancements. Smart bombs and shields offer some emergency tools, but careful control and awareness are the key to maintaining long runs. Super Stardust Portable thrives on its rhythm. The speed increases steadily, enemies get more aggressive, and the challenge becomes one of endurance, reaction time, and clean execution. It's the kind of arcade shooter where every attempt feels like a chance to beat your last run, discover new patterns, and refine your approach. With the game's crisp visuals and energetic soundtrack reinforcing the sense of flow and intensity. It's an ideal handheld experience which is easy to jump into, hard to master, and endlessly replayable. Number 62, Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. Siphon Filter Dark Mirror revitalises the long-running series with a focus on stealth, tactical shooting and a polished mission structure. You control Gabe Logan, an experienced operative tackling threats across varied environments that mix infiltration, espionage and high-energy action, with the game blending stealth and gunplay smoothly. Players can silently neutralise enemies, hide in the shadows or switch to direct confrontation when necessary. Gadgets like the taser, goggles and silence weapons give plenty of flexibility, allowing players to approach encounters based on their own preferences rather than any kind of rigid design. The levels frequently change objectives, mixing stealth segments with shootouts, reconnaissance tasks and environmental challenges. This structure keeps the gameplay fresh and encourages thoughtful movement rather than constant running and gunning. Visually, the game looks fantastic for a PSP game, with detailed environments and cinematic cutscenes that enhance the narrative. The story itself is tightly written, balancing geopolitical intrigue with personal stakes for the characters involved. Dark Mirror excels because it respects both stealth fans and action fans, offering plenty of depth without sacrificing accessibility. It's one of the PSP's great standout tactical shooters, showcasing what the system can do with careful design and strong direction. Number 63, Worms Open Warfare 2. Worms Open Warfare 2 improves on the original handheld game in almost every meaningful way. The most important upgrade is the improved physics system. Shots curve more predictably, explosions behave consistently, and terrain reacts more naturally. This makes aiming and planning far more satisfying than in the first game. The AI is also much smarter. Instead of the erratic behaviour from the original, enemy worms now take better shots, use cover more effectively, and make decisions that feel fair and strategic, creating a much more enjoyable single-player experience. Open Warfare 2 adds more content as well, including crazy new weapons, better balanced returning tools, and the introduction of puzzle missions. These puzzles challenge players with precise, creative scenarios and add a layer of variety that the first game lacked. Customization is also expanded with more team options and a stronger map editor, giving players more control over how matches look and play. The overall presentation is cleaner, maps are easier to read, menus are smoother, and the pacing feels much more polished. All of these improvements come together to create a Worms experience that is tighter, smarter, and much more fun than the original Open Warfare, making it one of the most refined handheld entries in the entire series. Number 64, Tenchu Shadow Assassins. Tenchu Shadow Assassins is a stealth-focused game that places players in the role of the ninjas Rikimaru and Ayame as they undertake missions centered on infiltration, precision, and silent takedowns. Levels are designed with multiple paths, encouraging exploration and rewarding players for finding clever routes through rooftops, alleys, and hidden passages. The sense of tension here is strong, with enemies capable of detecting noise, sudden movement, or suspicious behaviour. Shadow Assassins moves away from heavy combat in favour of carefully timed stealth kills and disguises. Players can blend into the environment, use tools like smoke bombs and grappling hooks, and exploit those enemy blind spots. This slower, methodical approach perfectly fits the tone of a stealth ninja experience. The atmosphere is another highlight. Lantern-lit streets, wooden fortresses, and quiet gardens all contribute to a strong sense of place, with a great ambient soundtrack enhancing the feeling of moving through the shadows of feudal Japan. And Tenchu Shadow Assassins is committed to pure stealth gameplay. It rewards precision and discipline, offering a thoughtful, atmospheric handheld experience that appeals to fans of strategic stealth infiltration. Number 65, Cake Mania Baker's Challenge. Cake Mania Baker's Challenge is a fast-paced, time management game where players run a bakery, juggling orders, cooking times, and multitasking across increasingly hectic stages. The goal is simple: bake the right cake, with the right shape and frosting, and deliver it quickly enough to keep customers satisfied. Each level introduces new challenges, more customer types, more equipment to manage, and tighter time limits. The game's pacing ramps up steadily, pushing players to refine efficiency and maintain a smooth workflow. Juggling multiple ovens, decorating stations, and display counters becomes a mini-puzzle in itself. Once players get into the groove of taking orders, baking, and timing deliveries, the game's flow becomes frantic, with lots of arrogant, fussy, and impatient customers. The PSP version includes additional levels and customization options, adding replay value and variety. It's a great pick-up-and-play title, easy to learn, quick to play, and surprisingly addictive as the difficulty ramps up, delivering a straightforward but engaging experience that keeps players coming back to beat the previous scores and perfect their bakery's workflow. And I'll be honest, I've played this game more than I would ever like to admit. Honestly, I love myself some Cake Mania Baker's Challenge. Number 66, Buzzmaster Quiz. Buzzmaster Quiz brings the spirit of the quiz show competition to the PSP, delivering a mix of trivia, mini-games and rapid-fire challenges designed for both solo and multiplayer games. It captures the well-known, light-hearted personality of the Buzz series, featuring colourful presentation, intuitive controls and a wide range of question categories from general knowledge and pop culture to specialised topics like sports or history. The game offers campaign-style progression, where players take on themed challenges that test memory, reaction time and deduction. Each challenge uses a different minigame format. Some require identifying images, others focus on timed answers, and some ask you to eliminate incorrect choices. The variety here keeps sessions interesting, and the PSP format makes it easy to enjoy short bursts of gameplay. Buzzmaster Quiz is a great translation of the quiz show format, moulding it into a portable, accessible package that encourages friendly competition and casual play. It's energetic, light, and consistently enjoyable, perfect for them quick gaming sessions or for taking on your mates. Number 67, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Renegade Squadron. Star Wars Battlefront 2 Renegade Squadron takes everything that worked in the original PSP Battlefront 2 and refines it into a smoother, more engaging experience. One of the biggest improvements here is the mission structure. While the first PSP game adapted the console's large-scale battles into smaller, sometimes confusing maps, Renegade Squadron reorganises missions to be tighter and more focused. Each objective is clearer, whether it's capturing zones, defending points, or completing timed missions, making it much easier to plan and execute those winning strategies. The game also significantly improves AI behaviour. Enemy troops are smarter, more reactive, and more consistent than in the first PSP entry, which means battles feel fairer, but also much more challenging. Allied units act more reliably as well, supporting players in coordinated attacks, instead of standing idle or acting unpredictably. Another major enhancement is its customization. Players can now tweak squad loadouts and abilities more freely, tailoring the soldiers and vehicles to match their preferred playstyle. Coupled with the larger variety of environments and improved mission structure, this makes every battle feel truly unique. Graphically, Renegade Squadron has had a bump, looking sharper and smoother, and the maps are more readable, animations flow better, and Star Wars locations feel even more immersive. Combined with the classic music and sound effects, this game once again captures the cinematic feel of the franchise in a handheld format. Number 68, Ridge Racer. Ridge Racer on PSP takes the classic arcade racing formula and distills it into fast, intense races requiring precision and drifting mastery. The game keeps the arcade feel of the original console titles, focusing on skillful cornering and maintaining momentum rather than realistic simulation. Players race across varied tracks, each designed with flowing curves, elevation changes and challenging turns, and the drift mechanic here really is central. Successfully chaining drifts builds boosts, allowing skilled players to maintain high speeds while going for that all-important overtake. Customization is available for cars and tuning, giving players a lot of freedom to adjust handling, acceleration and grip to suit their own personal racing style. The AI opponents are aggressive but fair, providing consistent challenges without ever feeling unfair. Graphically, Ridge Racer looks extremely crisp for a PSP title with smooth environments, bright visuals and responsive controls that make each race feel really fluid and thrilling. The soundtrack also complements the game, combining energetic tracks with adrenaline pumping beats. The game works well as a handheld racer because sessions are short enough for pick up and play moments, yet deep enough for repeated attempts to master tracks, and Ridge Racer is a perfect example of arcade racing distilled into a portable, engaging package. Number 69, Rocky Balboa. Rocky Balboa on the PSP adapts the entire Rocky franchise's story into a boxing game that balances cinematic storytelling with accessible and enjoyable fights. Players follow Rocky's journey right from the very beginning as he faces a variety of opponents, culminating in climactic boxing battles that capture the spirit of the films. The game has a strong focus on timing, stamina management and defensive strategies, with each fight requiring observing opponents' patterns, blocking effectively and finding openings for those decisive combinations. The career progression allows Rocky to improve his skills, unlock new combos and gain better stats, giving a good sense of growth throughout the campaign, along with full cutscenes pulled straight out of the films and scripted events to interweave with the fights, keeping the story flowing nicely while maintaining the gameplay momentum. Visually, the game does a solid job for the handheld platform, featuring recognisable arenas and fluid animations, and the soundtrack and voice work from the films add that extra layer of immersion, bringing the complete Rocky story to life. So overall, Rocky Balboa is a great boxing title on the system, and even more amazing if you're a fan of the Rocky films. Number 70, FIFA 14. FIFA 14 on the PSP delivers the fast-paced football action the series is known for, adapting the console experience into a handheld format, and players can control clubs and national teams across multiple leagues and tournaments, featuring realistic team strategies and formations preserved as much as possible for the PSP hardware. The gameplay emphasises ball control, passing accuracy and positioning, with AI teammates and opponents behaving intelligently, making decisions that mirror real-world football, finding space, covering zones and timing tackles, where quick thinking and anticipation are key to breaking through those defences and creating scoring opportunities. Season and tournament modes provide extended gameplay, while quick matches are perfect for portable bite-sized sessions. Graphics are simplified compared to console counterparts, but players and stadiums remain recognisable, with smooth animations that support responsive gameplay. The soundtrack and crowd reactions adding to the stadium atmosphere, helping players feel immersed despite being on the smaller screen. And FIFA 14 works well as a handheld footy experience because it balances realism, accessibility and portability, making it a great option for both casual matches and those long career sessions, capturing the excitement of the sport in a compact format. Number 71, Patapon 2. So in this list we already covered Patapon 1, and where Patapon 1 introduced the foundation, Patapon 2 elevates the formula into a more customizable and content-rich adventure, with one of the most noticeable improvements is the addition of new unit types, broadening the range of strategies that players can use. Instead of relying solely on the familiar hunters, spearmen and shield bearers, Patapon 2 introduces units like the Kibapon, Miamsar and Toripon. Yeah, that took a few takes. Each with its own strengths, weaknesses and rhythm for combat. This added diversity encourages players to think more deeply about team composition and adapt their army to different challenges and enemy types. It's a meaningful expansion over the first game that turns every battle into a much more strategic encounter. Number 72, Virtua Tennis World Tour. Virtua Tennis World Tour brings the fun and accessible tennis gameplay of the console series to the PSP. With a focus on tournaments, career progression and fast-paced matches, players can compete in singles or doubles, climb the rankings, and customize their character's skills and appearance. The game balances timing, shot selection and movement, with lobs, volleys and power shots requiring awareness of court positioning and the opponent's tendencies. Career mode allows players to train, upgrade skills and participate in international tournaments, and those quick matches are also perfect for pick up and play handheld sessions. The graphics are clean and colourful, with smooth player animations and responsive ball physics, and the stadiums and crowds are recognisable and help capture the energy of competitive tennis. The training minigames are also particularly fun and are required for boosting your stats in the career mode. And I really have no interest in real world tennis, but something about Virtua Tennis World Tour always keeps me coming back. I've played this one in multiplayer extensively using the PPSSPP emulator against my good friend Canis. This one's for you, mate. What a return! Number 73, Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions. Final Fantasy Tactics War of the Lions brings the classic tactical RPG experience to the PSP, updating the original version with expanded cutscenes, translated dialogue, and additional story content. Players control a squad of characters across grid-based battlefields, making decisions about movement, attacks, and abilities. The game's depth lies in its job system, which allows characters to learn skills across multiple classes, fostering real long-term strategy. And each battle encourages careful planning, positioning, and exploiting elemental or status weaknesses. Narrative enhancements provide a richer experience than the original, giving context to political intrigue, character motivations, and dramatic twists. Side quests and optional battles add further challenge and reward, appealing to both newcomers and long-time fans. Visually, War of the Lions combines detailed sprites with lush battle maps and cinematic cutscenes, making each counter visually engaging. The music here remains iconic, enhancing tension and emotional beats throughout the story, and this PSP edition faithfully adapts a complex tactical RPG while taking advantage of portable play, giving players a rich, turn-based tactical RPG experience. Number 74, WWE SmackDown vs Raw 2011. SmackDown vs Raw 2011 delivers professional wrestling action to the PSP, offering a robust roster, diverse match types, and a mix of fast-paced gameplay with a complete lack of nuance that WWE is known for. Players can execute combos, reversals, and signature moves while managing stamina and positioning. Knowing when to strike, grapple, or set up a finishing move is just as important as every single flashy attack. Career and story modes allow players to create their own superstars and follow personal storylines, while quick matches provide pick up and play fun. Graphically, the game captures wrestler likenesses and signature arenas with surprising fidelity for the PSP. The animations are fluid, and each match feels energetic, with commentary and crowd reactions adding to the fun. SmackDown vs Raw 2011 succeeds on PSP by giving wrestling fans a satisfying, portable experience that mirrors the excitement of the console games while being more tailored to shorter play sessions. Number 75, Bounty Hounds. Bounty Hounds revitalises the action RPG formula on the PSP with fast-paced combat, alien environments and loot-driven progression. You play as a mercenary exploring dangerous planets, taking on hordes of hostile creatures while upgrading weapons and armour to survive increasingly difficult encounters. The gameplay is a nice balance of hack and slash combat with strategic equipment management. Players can try different weapon types and gear combinations, tailoring their approach to different enemy types and mission objectives. Combat feels satisfying, and the variety of enemies ensures that no two battles feel identical. The missions are structured to maintain purpose and urgency. From barren wastelands to industrial complexes, environments do change frequently, keeping gameplay fresh and encouraging skill over mindless button mashing. And the game here is graphically impressive on the PSP, with detailed character models and dynamic alien landscapes. And the story is not particularly deep, it provides just enough context though to support the thrill of exploration and combat, making Bounty Hounds stand out as a portable RPG that respects both fans of action and loot-based progression, offering a surprisingly deep experience for the handheld platform. Now, seeing as we're halfway through the ultimate PSP games list, now would be a great time to please ask for a like on the video if you've not done so already. If you've made it this far, then hopefully you're enjoying the video enough to make me very happy by doing so. And I did say at the start of the video that I wouldn't ask you to subscribe again, so I definitely won't ask you to do that. If you'd like to, that's great, which technically means I didn't ask again. Honestly though, I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Thanks if you've put a like and subscribed. Number 76, Driver 76. Driver 76 brings high-speed car chases and stylish criminal action to the PSP, condensing the open-world driving experience into a more portable, mission-focused format. You take on the role of a getaway driver, navigating New York's criminal underworld, completing heist missions, escapes, and time challenges. The gameplay balances precision driving with arcade-style thrills. Players can drift around corners, evade police, and use environmental shortcuts, creating intense, fast-paced sequences. The controls are accessible, yet challenging, rewarding skillful manoeuvring and careful timing. Driver 76 makes good use of the PSP hardware, delivering recognisable cityscapes and a dynamic sense of speed. Combined with an energetic soundtrack and cinematic cutscenes, the game effectively captures the style and drama of classic crime thrillers, which makes the game excel as a handheld driving experience, offering the excitement of a getaway mission without sacrificing precision or fun. Number 77, Splinter Cell Essentials. Splinter Cell Essentials brings the stealth action series sneaking onto the PSP, delivering tight level design, optimal gadget use, and suspenseful encounters. You control Sam Fisher, a skilled NSA operative navigating heavily guarded facilities, while neutralizing threats and uncovering conspiracies. The gameplay here blends stealth and combat seamlessly. Players can sneak past guards, disable security systems, or engage in direct confrontation when situations escalate. Gadgets such as night vision goggles, silenced weapons and tasers give missions lots of flexibility, allowing players to approach scenarios and set pieces in multiple ways. The level design promotes ingenuity. Objectives shift within missions, combining reconnaissance, sabotage and tactical takedowns, which keeps the gameplay engaging and encourages thoughtful planning. Splinter Cell Essentials also looks great for a PSP game, with cinematic cutscenes and a narrative that is concise and compelling, delivering espionage and intrigue without overwhelming the player with tons of exposition. And Splinter Cell Essentials respects both stealth and action players, creating a tactical experience that remains intensely satisfying on the PSP. Number 78, Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles. Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles brings two classic RPGs to the PSP in a single polished package. Players follow Adol Kristin, a red-haired adventurer navigating vibrant towns, treacherous dungeons and monster-infested landscapes, with a mix of exploration, combat and storytelling. The combat is real-time and fast-paced, rewarding a good approach and quick reflexes. Players can experiment with party setups, attack patterns and equipment to suit their playstyle, keeping encounters engaging while maintaining the signature charm of the series. Missions and exploration here are structured to maintain variety and momentum, and towns offer side quests and character interactions, while dungeons challenge players with puzzles and challenging enemy encounters, creating a nice balanced rhythm between story progression and gameplay. This PSP version delivers updated visuals and a memorable soundtrack that enhances both nostalgic appeal and overall immersion. The narrative is straightforward yet compelling, providing context and motivation for Adol's heroic journey. And Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles delivers depth, pace and charm that will satisfy both long-time fans and newcomers alike. Number 79, Zombie Tycoon. Zombie Tycoon takes a unique approach to the zombie game on the PSP, putting players in control of a horde of zombies rather than the humans trying to survive them. You command 3 customizable squads to overwhelm cities, towns and rival zombie groups, blending humour and chaos. Players must coordinate squad movements, plan attacks and exploit enemy weaknesses, while maintaining a sense of fun as tiny zombies wreak havoc on unsuspecting humans. The humour is intentional, with amusing animations and quirky enemy reactions that keep the tone light. The missions are varied, ranging from city assaults to defensive scenarios, ensuring players must adapt rather than relying on the same repetitive strategies. Zombie Tycoon uses colourful cartoon-style graphics, enhancing the comedic impact. And the story provides just enough context to motivate the objectives, but the real appeal here is in the chaotic gameplay. Excelling as a portable strategy game with a sense of humour, offering a unique twist on the zombie genre that's extremely fun and addictive. This is another one of those not so well known, smaller PSP games that I've sunk an insane amount of time into. Number 80, Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast. Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast brings classic arcade-style racing to the PSP, combining high-speed thrills, scenic routes and branching pathways. Players drive a variety of sports cars through sun-drenched landscapes, chasing checkpoints against a ticking clock. Speed, precision and risk-reward mechanics are all at play here. You must navigate traffic, execute sharp turns and choose alternate routes to maintain momentum, creating an adrenaline-fueled experience. Each race challenges reflexes while encouraging the use of different vehicles and routes. Level design prioritises variety and visual appeal from coastal highways to mountain passes, with each route offering distinct challenges and opportunities for exploration, keeping races fresh and engaging. The graphics here are great, with vibrant environments, smooth car models and impressive lighting effects for a handheld title. Coupled with a nostalgic synth soundtrack, the presentation evokes the style and thrill of the classic arcade racing game. Outrun 2006 Coast to Coast combines speed, visual flair and arcade fun in a way that is extremely exhilarating. Number 81, Lord of the Rings Tactics. Lord of the Rings Tactics adapts the epic Middle-earth saga into a portable tactical RPG experience on the PSP. Players command iconic characters like Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli through grid-based battles, making tactical decisions to overcome enemies and advance the story. Gameplay emphasises positioning and abilities, as each character has unique skills and strengths, encouraging careful planning coordination. Players must consider terrain, movement range and attack priorities to succeed in increasingly challenging encounters. The mission structure alternates between story-driven battles and optional skirmishes, keeping players engaged with both narrative and tactical gameplay. Graphically, Lord of the Rings Tactics presents a faithful recreation of Middle-earth with detailed models, varied environments and cinematic cutscenes. The story captures key moments from the books and films, giving players a sense of participation in the iconic saga. Overall, Lord of the Rings Tactics excels as a portable strategy game, offering depth and accessibility while letting fans experience Middle-earth battles from a very tactical perspective. Number 82, Metal Gear Acid 2. Metal Gear Acid 2 brings turn-based stealth back to the PSP with sharper pacing, a bold new art style and major improvements over the original. The core card-driven system remains, but nearly every aspect has been refined to make the experience smoother. The gameplay still revolves around selecting cards to move, attack and use gadgets, but the sequel speeds things up noticeably. Movement cards are more plentiful, enemy patterns are clearer and missions flow with far less trial and error. Animations are quicker, the UI is cleaner, and the overall pacing feels more fluid and responsive compared to the first game. Deck building also receives a significant upgrade, with Metal Gear Acid 2 adding better sorting options, more balanced cards and a fairer reward system, reducing the grind that occasionally slowed down the original. New weapon and support cards open fresh possibilities and encourage creativity rather than rigid optimization. Visually, Metal Gear Acid 2 shifts to a vivid cel-shaded style, and not only does it change the mood, it also improves clarity. The characters, environments and action cues here are easier to read, and the game pushes the PSP hardware further with smoother transitions and more detailed models. The real highlights are the expanded arena mode, extra missions and improved enemy variety. Metal Gear Acid 2 really does tighten everything the first game started. It preserves the tactical depth, cuts the rough edges and delivers a faster, cleaner and more stylish version of the card-based stealth formula. Definitely making it the definitive Metal Gear Acid experience on the PSP. I would still recommend playing Metal Gear Acid 1 first though, in its entirety, as you can import your progress from the first game into number 2, including selecting a few of your best cards to carry over and 10% of your credits to get started for the sequel, making this an ideal continuation of the first game while still holding its own as one of the best tactical action games on the PSP. Number 83, Vector TD. Vector TD is a streamlined tower defense experience for the PSP, putting players in charge of placing and upgrading defensive towers to stop waves of pixelated enemies. Its minimalist visuals and intuitive controls make it accessible while still demanding players plan their defenses accordingly. The gameplay focuses on optimizing tower placement, managing upgrades and anticipating enemy patterns. Each map presents new challenges, requiring players to adapt their strategy to survive increasingly difficult waves. The early levels ease players into mechanics while the later stages test the mastery of tower combinations and credit management. And graphically, Vector TD is clean and functional, emphasising clarity and readability over any kind of flashy presentation. So while it lacks a ton of depth, its addictive gameplay makes this an engaging choice for portable strategy enthusiasts. And yes, this is yet another PSP hidden gem that I have sunk countless hours into. Number 84, Lemmings. Lemmings brings the classic puzzle series to the PSP, tasking players with guiding small, adorable lemmings to safety through increasingly complex levels. Each lemming can be given specialised abilities, and players must deploy them accordingly to overcome the obstacles. The gameplay emphasises planning, timing and problem solving, and you must balance limited resources with the level hazards, ensuring that you have enough lemmings to survive to complete each stage. The challenge escalates gradually, keeping the experience engaging for both newcomers and long-time fans. Levels are designed with creativity and variety, offering puzzles that reward astute observation and logical thinking, and this portable format makes it easy to tackle short or long sessions, perfect for on-the-go puzzle solving. Visually, the game has had an overhaul with cleaner sprites and new 3D backgrounds along with expressive lemming animations. While the story is minimal, the whimsical presentation and clever level design carry the experience. There is a reason that the Lemmings formula has stood the test of time, with the PSP version being a full remake of the 1991 original Lemmings, including all of the 120 levels, along with 36 new levels and the updated graphics and sound design. If you have liked any previous Lemmings game, then I'm sure you'll have a great time with this. Number 85, Mortal Kombat Unchained. Mortal Kombat Unchained delivers the classic fighting franchise to the PSP, bringing intense combat, brutal finishing moves and a roster of fan favourite fighters. Players engage in one-on-one battles across varied arenas, mastering combos and fatalities in a portable format. Gameplay focuses on timing, combo execution and character knowledge, and each fighter has unique moves and special attacks requiring you to learn every character's moveset. The control scheme adapts really well to the PSP, maintaining the responsiveness the series is known for. And there's a ton of content here as well, including arcade modes, versus battles, chess combat and challenge ladders, keeping players engaged through both story and competitive play, along with tons of things to unlock. Mortal Kombat Unchained graphically impresses on the PSP, with detailed character models, fluid animations and stylized violence that captures the series' signature intensity. The story ties together the Mortal Kombat experience, adding context to battles without overwhelming the core fighting experience. Mortal Kombat Unchained is a great portable fighting game, balancing accessibility with the franchise's trademark depth and over-the-top spectacle. Number 86, Pilot Academy. Pilot Academy offers a flight simulation experience tailored for the PSP, focusing on flight training missions and aerial challenges. Players take control of various fully licensed aircraft, completing objectives that range from precision flying to combat scenarios. The gameplay emphasises both realism and accessibility, as players must master controls, navigation and mission-specific tasks, trying to balance speed and accuracy to succeed. The game introduces different aircraft gradually, allowing players to acclimate before tackling more complex missions. These missions have a lot of range, including passenger flights, sightseeing tours, crop dusting, safari photography, barnstorming, air races, combat engagements, bombing runs and more, keeping gameplay diverse and engaging. The progression system rewards skill development, with various side objectives which can lead to commendations and extra unlockables on missions. Graphically, Pilot Academy isn't much to look at, but it's the gameplay that really shines through here. The narrative is practically non-existent, focusing on the training and accomplishment of the pilot rather than the story. So if you're looking for a great flight sim on the PSP, then Pilot Academy will be a great choice. I personally love flying games, and this is a real gem. Number 87, Frogger Helmet Chaos. Frogger Helmet Chaos brings Konami's classic Hopper into a full 3D adventure designed specifically for the PSP. Instead of just dodging traffic and hoping for the best, Frogger is thrown into a light-hearted plot involving mind control helmets, quirky villains, and levels that mix platforming with the series' signature hop-by-hop movement. Frogger can hop, grab ledges, push blocks, and navigate environmental hazards that demand careful observation rather than just blind jumping. The classic one grid space at a time movement is preserved but expanded, allowing for more dynamic levels without losing the nostalgic feel. The mission structure alternates between exploratory stages, puzzle-heavy zones, and classic Frogger-style obstacle gauntlets. Each area introduces new mechanics, like sliding platforms, rotating hazards, and shifting terrain, keeping the gameplay fresh. Optional collectibles and hidden routes reward more adventurous players and add tons of replay value. Frogger Helmet Chaos offers bright, colourful environments and expressive character animations that suit the series' playful tone. The PSP's hardware allows for smooth performance, readable layouts and enough visual charm to make the game's sillier story moments land. The upbeat soundtrack and cartoony sound effects help keep the experience light, even when you're narrowly avoiding a lava pit or a very determined snake. Frogger Helmet Chaos is a great portable reimagining of a classic formula, blending old-school hot-based gameplay with modern platforming and a delightfully cheerful sense of humour. It's a fun, easy-going adventure that proves Frogger can do more than just cross streets. He can save the world one careful hop at a time. Number 88, The Warriors. The Warriors adapts the cult classic film into a beat-em-up experience, combining story-driven missions with chaotic street combat. Players control various gang members, completing objectives, fighting rival gangs, and navigating the urban landscape. The gameplay blends brawling mechanics with environmental interaction, and players can punch, kick, and use improvised weapons, while destructible environments add variety to every combat encounter. Team coordination and strategy are encouraged, particularly in multi-character missions. The mission structure alternates between story-driven sequences and side activities, keeping the pacing tight. The levels vary nicely, from alleyways to rooftops, offering tactical and spatial challenges. And graphically, The Warriors presents detailed character models and gritty challenges, capturing the film's aesthetic. The story faithfully follows the source material, adding context to the chaotic action, making The Warriors a great beat-em-up, with engaging combat, narrative context, and the chaotic charm of urban gang warfare. In an era where Rockstar Games just makes GTA games and re-releases Red Dead Redemption for the countless time, The Warriors stands as a reminder that they actually used to take creative risks, with fantastic results. Number 89, Wipeout Pulse. Wipeout Pulse pushes the PSP's anti-gravity racing to a sleeker, faster and more refined level than Wipeout Pure, acting as both a sequel and a major quality of life upgrade. It keeps the series' trademark blend of breakneck speed, razor-sharp turning and futuristic weapon combat, but layers on improvements that make the experience feel smoother, more modern and more customizable. The gameplay still emphasizes high-speed precision and track memorization, but Wipeout Pulse tightens the controls and improves ship handling across all classes. The difficulty curve is more balanced than in Wipeout Pure, allowing players to ease into the higher speeds without being immediately tossed into a wall at Mach 3. The weapons here are better balanced, making races feel less random and more skill driven. One of Wipeout Pulse's biggest improvements is its track design. While Pure leaned heavily on classic Wipeout nostalgia, Pulse introduces cleaner, more polished circuits with sharper geometry and clever layouts. Dynamic lighting and track themes like neon cities and cold metallic corridors make each race visually striking, while still maintaining readability at high speed. The fan favourite mag strip feature, which locks ships onto certain wall-hugging sections, opens up new types of track flow Wipeout Pure simply couldn't offer. There's a ton of content here, with Wipeout Pulse offering more structure to the progression. Having a race campaign grid lets you choose your path through events instead of following a fixed ladder, along with career goals, downloadable packs and liveries adding customization that Wipeout Pure lacked. Graphically, Wipeout Pulse is a clear step up, with higher detailed ships, smoother effects and richer environments that keep your eyes focused on where they need to be. The soundtrack remains quintessentially Wipeout, with thumping electronic beats, but with crisper mixing and improved energy that matches the gameplay's pace. Wipeout Pulse builds on everything that Wipeout Pure did right and smooths out the rough edges. It's faster, cleaner, more visually dynamic, and more player friendly. It stands as one of the PSP's most polished futuristic racers and a sequel that genuinely moves the series forward. Number 90, Dead to Rights Reckoning. Dead to Rights Reckoning brings Jack Slate and his canine partner Shadow to the PSP in a compact, action-heavy shooter focused on fast gunplay and stylish takedowns. Instead of sprawling levels or detective work, this entry trims the series down to its explosive essentials. Shoot, dive, disarm, repeat. The gameplay focuses on quick reactions, dual-wielding chaos and Jack's signature slow-motion dives. The PSP controls keep things simple: move, aim and unleash hell, letting you focus on circling enemies, filling rooms with brass and occasionally sending Shadow to tackle an unfortunate criminal. The disarm moves, a highlight of the series, return with flashy animations that reward close quarters bravery. Mission structure is straightforward but punchy, with levels being built around firefights, rescue ops and infiltration scenarios that favour movement over complexity. You move from encounter to encounter with minimal downtime, giving the game a brisk, arcade-like feel. The shorter missions suit handheld play, allowing for quick bursts of action without feeling repetitive. Graphically, Dead to Rights Reckoning delivers solid character models, detailed environments and smooth slow-mo effects for a PSP-era shooter. And the environments lean towards industrial rooftops, warehouses and crime dens. Not glamorous, but perfect for Jack's brand of problem solving. Sound effects from gunshots to shadows growls keep the action crunchy and energetic, with Dead to Rights Reckoning being a great distillation of the series. It's simple, punchy and unapologetically action first. So if you want a game where you can dive in slow motion, command a crime fighting dog and clear a room before morning coffee, Reckoning delivers exactly that with no fuss and no filler. Number 91, Ace Combat Joint Assault. Ace Combat Joint Assault brings high-speed aerial combat back to the PSP with a sharper focus on accessibility, mission variety and cooperative play, pushing far beyond what Skies of Deception achieved. While it still delivers the series' trademark blend of fast dogfights and cinematic missions, Joint Assault makes key improvements that streamline the experience and broaden the ways players can engage with the action. The most notable upgrade over Skies of Deception is the revamped targeting and control system, giving dogfights more intensity and making close quarters chases feel dramatically smoother. The aiming and missile tracking system have also been refined, reducing the occasional frustration found in the previous game's lock-on system. Mission structure shows clear growth as well. While Skies of Deception leaned into large-scale warzone storytelling, Joint Assault diversifies its objectives, with escort runs, multi-phase boss encounters, rapid intercept missions and grounded assaults that mix air and environmental hazards. The pacing here is faster and more cohesive, with missions designed to keep players moving rather than circling distant waypoints. One of the biggest draws is full multiplayer co-op, a first for a portable Ace Combat, with Joint Assault supporting up to 4 players teaming up for the entirety of the campaign, allowing coordinated strikes and shared objectives. This feature alone elevates the game significantly beyond Skies of Deception, which was limited to only competitive ad hoc modes. Co-op missions reward communication and open up tactical possibilities that aren't possible playing solo. I have played this game with online co-op extensively, using the PPSSPP emulator. Graphically, Joint Assault sharpens textures, increases draw distances, and improves lighting compared to its predecessor. City maps, especially the fictionalized global locations, are more detailed, giving the game a rich sense of altitude and speed. Audio also gets a boost with cleaner jet engine sounds, more impactful explosions, and a soundtrack that leans heavily into high-energy orchestral electronic fusion. Number 92, Medieval Resurrection. Medieval Resurrection brings the quirky action-adventure series to the PSP, casting players as Sir Daniel Fortescue, an undead knight trying to save the kingdom of Gallowmere. The game is a nice blend of combat, exploration and light puzzle solving with a gothic, humorous style. The gameplay focuses on swordplay, range attacks and strategical use of magical items. Players will encounter varied enemies and bosses, each requiring different tactics to defeat. The level design encourages exploration, secrets discovery and creative problem solving. The mission pacing is well balanced, alternating between action sequences, environmental challenges and narrative-driven moments that maintain engagement, with collectibles and upgrades getting rewarded through exploration. Graphically, Medieval Resurrection is impressive with colourful, stylized visuals, detailed character models and atmospheric environments that retain the series' charm. The story combines humour and heroism, keeping players invested in Sir Daniel Fortescue's adventures. Medieval Resurrection is a fantastic portable action-adventure game, delivering plenty of engaging combat, whimsical environments and memorable storytelling. Number 93, Manhunt 2. Manhunt 2 translates the dark stealth horror series to the PSP, dropping players in tense, morally charged situations. You control Daniel Lamb as he navigates a violent dystopian environment while evading or eliminating pursuers in brutal cinematic encounters. The gameplay encourages stealth, timing and creative use of the environment, with players hiding, sneaking or employing improvised weapons to silently take down enemies, with the tension also being heightened by unpredictable AI and limited resources. The mission structure balances open-ended stealth segments with more scripted, narrative-driven scenarios, maintaining suspense throughout. Every level challenges the player to think critically about movement to avoid being snuffed out. Visually, Manhunt 2 conveys a grim atmosphere through gritty environments and detailed character animations. The story here is extremely dark and provocative, adding depth and weight to the player actions. And all footage seen here is running with the uncensored patch, and I would recommend this version as otherwise a lot of the more brutal executions are completely blurred out. Yes, this game is extremely graphic. Manhunt 2 is an extremely savage, portable stealth horror experience, offering violence, tension, and a gripping narrative adapted effectively for the PSP. I had to be very choosy with my footage selection here to not include anything too graphic. Number 94, Peggle, so a little bit more upbeat with this one. Peggle is a casual puzzle game that transforms simple mechanics into addictive gameplay for the PSP. Players shoot balls to clear pegs from intricate boards, combining skill and luck to maximise scores. The gameplay emphasises timing, trajectory planning and power-up utilisation, with each shot being an opportunity to chain combos for massive scores. The level design progressively introduces complexity and new challenges, while bonus objectives and special pegs encourage experimentation and replay. Peggle is colourful, playful, and the soundtrack adds charm and energy, complementing the light-hearted casual tone. There's a ton of extra challenging game modes here as well, and once the main story is complete, you can replay it on harder difficulties with all the abilities unlocked to try and get even higher high scores. There's a lot of addictive replay value here with all kinds of challenge modes as well. Simply put, Peggle is a great puzzle experience, combining simplicity, addictive gameplay and cheerful presentation that appeals to both casual and dedicated players. I have literally played this for an insane amount of time and I've still not completed everything. I love Peggle. Number 95, Red Bull X Fighters. Red Bull X Fighters brings extreme motocross action to the PSP, allowing players to perform high-flying stunts, navigate challenging courses and compete in stunt-based competitions. Imagine a stripped-down trials game for this one. Players control riders through a series of ramps, obstacles and jumps requiring precision and creativity. Players can chain flips and spins to score points while maintaining control over the challenging courses. The progression system rewards mastery of increasingly complex stunts, and the mission and event structure alternates between free practice, competitions and challenge modes, keeping the gameplay varied and engaging, with courses being designed to encourage experimentation with the trick system and risk-reward decision making. The soundtrack and sound effects amplify the adrenaline-fueled experience. Red Bull X Fighters delivers responsive controls and replayable challenges in a compact format, and this is another one of them tiny games that when compressed is only 11 megabytes. Number 96, Warriors Orochi 2. Warriors Orochi 2 brings massive hack and slash battles to the PSP, combining characters from the Dynasty Warriors and Samurai Warriors franchises in a crossover fantasy setting. Players command multiple heroes, defeating hordes of enemies and completing strategic objectives on sprawling battlefields. Utilising combo attacks, character switching and special abilities, players can chain attacks to decimate the enemy ranks. The mission structure alternates between main story battles and optional side objectives, keeping combat varied and rewarding mastery and levelling of multiple characters. Environments here are huge and dynamic, providing tactical opportunities during battles. Visually, Warriors Orochi 2 presents fluid combat animations and large-scale battlefields with many enemies on screen that is really quite impressive on the PSP. The story weaves together characters and factions, offering a compelling crossover narrative, with Warriors Orochi 2 succeeding as a portable action strategy experience, combining scale, character growth and frantic hack and slash action in a handheld friendly package. Number 97, Pinball the Williams Collection. Pinball the Williams Collection brings another set of classic pinball tables to the PSP, offering faithful recreations of popular Williams arcade pinball machines. Players can enjoy precise physics, table-specific rules and the tactile satisfaction of flipping pinballs across ramps and bumpers. Like with real pinball, the gameplay emphasises skill and hair-trigger reflexes along with a good scoring strategy. Players must aim carefully, control ball momentum and activate special table features to maximise points, with each table offering unique layouts, challenges and objectives. Graphically, tables are vibrant and detailed, capturing the visual flair of the original machines, and the accurate sound effects and music enhance immersion and the nostalgic appeal. Pinball the Williams collection is a top-notch portable pinball experience with a load of classic tables, combining authenticity, skill-based gameplay and the classic arcade fun. For the online footage of this game, I was on fire and beat my high score on my favourite table, which is also nice, I guess. Yay me. Number 98, MotorStorm Arctic Edge. MotorStorm Arctic Edge brings the series' signature off-road racing chaos to the PSP, featuring rugged vehicles ranging from dirt bikes, buggies, rally cars and trucks, all with unique strengths and weaknesses, along with dynamic terrain and extreme environmental conditions. Players race across snow, ice and rocky landscapes, navigating hazards while competing against other racers. The gameplay emphasises vehicle control, terrain adaptation, track knowledge and strategic use of boost to get ahead. Players must manage speed, grip and jumps while avoiding crashes and environmental obstacles. Mission and track design provide varied challenges from tight circuits to open snowfields, ensuring dynamic and replayable racing experiences. Environmental hazards like avalanches and icy patches keep players on edge. The Arctic Edge. The graphics here for a PSP game are astonishing, with detailed vehicles, dynamic snow effects and expansive tracks well optimised for handheld play. The audio captures engine roars and environmental ambience. MotorStorm Arctic Edge offers a thrilling experience with a diverse vehicle roster and extreme environmental challenges. And just a heads up, I couldn't get this one running on the emulator very smoothly at all. Number 99, Jetpack Joyride. Jetpack Joyride transforms endless runner gameplay into a portable arcade experience, with players controlling Barry's steak fries as he navigates dangerous facilities using a variety of jetpacks, while dodging hazards, collecting coins and triggering power-ups. The gameplay here requires reflexes, timing and precise movements while going super fast and avoiding hazards. Players must manoeuvre through lasers, missiles and electric barriers while maximising score and objectives. Power-ups and vehicle pickups add variety to the quick decision making. Level design is procedural, but paced to gradually increase difficulty, encouraging repeated play and mastery of the game's mechanics, with missions and daily challenges providing additional goals and replayability. Graphically, Jetpack Joyride features bright, engaging, cartoony visuals and smooth animations optimised for handheld play, along with a soundtrack and sound effects enhancing the fast-paced, playful tone, with Jetpack Joyride being a great portable arcade experience, combining addictive gameplay, responsive controls and engaging progression in a compact format. Number 100, Family Guy the Game. Family Guy the Game takes the humour and style of the TV show Family Guy and turns it into a mix of minigames, story segments and character-driven gameplay. Rather than focusing on one consistent genre, the game is built around short, varied scenarios that reflect the show's cutaway-style comedy. One of the main strengths of the game is how it captures the tone of the series. The writing, voice acting and character interactions feel authentic, with Peter, Stewie and Brian each getting their own storylines. These segments all play differently, which helps keep things interesting as you switch between the characters. Peter's sections are more chaotic and action-focused, often involving destruction and over-the-top objectives, while Stewie's gameplay leans into gadgets and world domination themes, while Brian's sections are a bit more grounded, focusing on exploration and interaction. This variety gives the game a constantly changing pace, even if the individual mechanics are fairly simple. Compared to more traditional PSP games, Family Guy the Game is less about depth and more about entertainment value. It's very much designed to be played in short bursts, which suits the handheld format well, and while some of the mini-games can feel a bit repetitive over time, the humour and presentation really do carry the experience. It's a game that prioritises fan service and comedy over complex gameplay, but for fans of the show it delivers familiar characters, recognisable jokes and a structure that mirrors the unpredictable style of Family Guy, making it a solid, light-hearted addition to the PSP library. 101, Tony Hawk's Project 8. Tony Hawk's Project 8 brings another slice of skateboarding to the PSP with a mix of classic trick mechanics, park exploration and a more grounded tone compared to the wilder Underground era. While this game carries the same name as the console version, the handheld release blends elements from earlier titles into a portable friendly package focused on smooth controls and tight trick chaining. Gameplay brings back the familiar flow of linking manuals, grinds, flips and reverts into ridiculously long combos. The trick meter and balance systems feel responsive on the hardware, allowing players to pull off impressive lines even in smaller environments. While the home console version introduced the nail the trick mechanic, the PSP version adapts it in a simplified form, giving players a little taste of the new feature without overwhelming the control setup. Mission structure follows a pick up and play format that suits handheld sessions, and as usual challenges range from high score runs to gap finding, time trick lists and environmental stunts. Levels reuse and remix classic Tony Hawk designs, creating areas that longtime fans will instantly recognise while still feeling fresh. The objectives flow nicely from one to the next, making it easy to stay hooked for just one more run. Project 8 makes good use of the PSP capabilities, with clean character models and colourful parks that maintain good visibility even at the higher speeds. The animations are fluid and the game keeps a stable frame rate, which is crucial when stringing them long combos. The soundtrack delivers the punk, hip-hop and alternative mix the series is known for, with an awesome soundtrack overall. Tony Hawk's Project 8 gives players a polished, fast-moving skateboarding experience that captures the core feel of the series, and while scaled down a bit in scope from the console release, this PSP version still delivers plenty of challenge and replayability, being a good pocket-sized dose of classic Tony Hawk flow. 102. Spider-Man 2. Spider-Man 2 on the PSP adapts the superhero's iconic web-slinging adventures into a handheld experience. Players swing through the streets, complete missions and battle familiar villains while embodying the agility and combat prowess of Spider-Man. Freedom of movement, acrobatics and combat are all on display here. Players can web swing, climb walls and engage in fast-paced hand-to-hand fights and use web-based attacks. The side missions and collectibles encourage exploration alongside the main objectives. The pacing keeps gameplay varied, balancing exploration with action-packed encounters. Spider-Man 2 features detailed cityscapes, smooth animations and faithful character models, which for a PSP release game is extra impressive. The story here is light, yet engaging, incorporating elements from the film while allowing Spider-Man's humour to shine. Even though Spider-Man 2 is not a particularly long game, it's still a fantastic portable superhero adventure, combining mobility, combat and exploration for an accessible and entertaining PSP experience. 103. Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Star Wars The Force Unleashed delivers cinematic, action-packed adventures on the PSP, considered by many to be the definitive version of this game, placing players in the role of Starkiller, Darth Vader's secret apprentice. Players use lightsabers and force powers to complete missions across the galaxy. Fights have a blend of melee and range combat with dynamic force powers that allow players to push, pull and manipulate enemies and objects. The combat is fluid and responsive, with boss encounters providing additional challenge and spectacle. The mission structure balances narrative-driven battles with exploration and environmental puzzles. Levels vary in setting and objective, ensuring gameplay remains as engaging as it is cinematic. This PSP version contains all of the great historic battles from the console version, where you get to replay some of the best battles from Star Wars history, along with 2 to 4 player multiplayer modes exclusive to the PSP version. The Force Unleashed has detailed environments, character models and cinematic cutscenes, really adding to that Star Wars authenticity. The story here is compelling, providing insight into the dark side and Starkiller's journey. Star Wars The Force Unleashed blends cinematic spectacle, responsive combat and a fan service which is a must play for any hardcore Star Wars fan. 104. Sega Rally Revo. Sega Rally Revo brings high-speed off-road racing to the PSP, combining precise driving mechanics with varied terrains and dynamic weather conditions. Players compete in rally events adapting to sand, mud, snow and gravel while trying to maintain speed and control. Unlike Colin McRae Rally 2005 seen earlier in this list, the handling here is much more arcadey and forgiving. Players must anticipate terrain changes and adjust vehicle behaviour accordingly, rewarding skill and patience. There's a load of different car classes here too, offering a unique driving experience. The race structure alternates between time trials, championships and special events, and tracks are designed with twists, jumps and environmental hazards to really test the player's skill. Graphically, Sega Rally Revo features detailed vehicles, realistic terrain textures and smooth frame rates optimised for the PSP. along with realistic engine sounds and environmental effects. Sega Rally Revo is a great arcade rally racing game delivering precise controls, varied courses and a satisfying off-road driving experience. 105. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters. Ratchet & Clank Size Matters brings the beloved action platformer series to the PSP, blending inventive weapons, creative level design and humorous storytelling. Players control the eponymous Ratchet and his robotic companion Clank, battling enemies and solving environmental puzzles across diverse planets, with the gameplay covering a balanced mix of combat, platforming and exploration. Players can experiment with a wide selection of imaginative weapons and gadgets, leading to plenty of chaos, with a ton of puzzles and collectibles to reward your curiosity. The levels are designed with plenty of variety, incorporating vertical gameplay, hidden areas and diverse enemy types. Size Matters presents detailed character models, plenty of vibrant environments and animated cutscenes that bring the series' humour to life, with the story combining comedy, heroism and the miscellaneous intergalactic antics, with Ratchet & Clank Size Matters being a decent portable action platformer offering creative gameplay, engaging levels and the franchise's signature charm on the PSP. 106. Super Monkey Ball Adventure. Super Monkey Ball Adventure transforms the classic marble rolling puzzle experience into a portable outing. Players are tasked with navigating a monkey inside a transparent ball across intricate courses while balancing precision and timing and factoring in momentum. Players must maneuver through obstacles, ramps and moving platforms while collecting bananas and reaching the end goal. Each stage gradually increases in difficulty, testing players' skill and patience. Missions alternate between main puzzles, time challenges and mini-games, keeping the gameplay dynamic, whilst collectibles and bonus objectives are abundant, rewarding exploration and curiosity. There's plenty of bright and colourful visuals here with smooth animations, and the wacky soundtrack really complements that playful tone. Super Monkey Ball Adventure is an extremely addictive puzzle game with plenty of challenging levels from start to finish. 107. Prince of Persia Rival Swords. Prince of Persia Rival Swords brings the acrobatic platforming and fast combat of the Two Thrones to the PSP, acting as a noticeably smoother and more refined successor to Prince of Persia Revelations. It keeps the series' signature mix of wall running, environmental puzzles and close quarters fights, but fixes many of the technical issues that held the previous handheld entry back. The most immediate improvement is performance. Rival Swords runs with fewer frame rate dips and tighter control movement, making its parkour sections more reliable and less frustrating than Revelations. Combat also benefits from the addition of the speed kill mechanic, allowing players to eliminate enemies with precise time strikes instead of slogging through brawls. A major upgrade here comes from the inclusion of the Dark Prince, having chain-based attacks, a unique traversal style, and gradual health drain, adding variety and momentum. Level layouts feel cleaner too, with better collision, clearer geometry and more logical checkpoints that keep the adventure moving along. Although this is the portable version of Prince of Persia The Two Thrones, much has been added here, including new levels, multiplayer modes and chariot races. Visually, Rival Swords sharpens textures, improves lighting and smooths out animations, giving the environments a much more polished look. And while Prince of Persia Revelations is a great game, Rival Swords is a much more complete experience. 108. Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow. Siphon Filter Logan's Shadow builds on Dark Mirror's foundation and sharpens it into one of the PSP's most polished stealth action experiences. It keeps the series' blend of tactics, gadgets and gunplay, but improves nearly every system to deliver smoother, more cinematic missions. The biggest upgrade is the revamped cover system. Gabe can now snap to surfaces, blind fire, slide between positions and transition more fluidly, making firefights more natural than Dark Mirror's lean and peak approach. Enemy AI is smarter too, guards coordinate, flank and react much more believably to sound and light. Combat also gains variety with expanded melee moves, contextual takedowns and the standout underwater segments, which introduce new movement and stealth mechanics absent from the first PSP game. Gadget handling is quicker and more intuitive too, keeping missions fast without losing any tactical depth. The level design is larger and more varied, with better pacing and more dynamic set pieces. Missions shift between infiltration, rescues, chases and high-intensity shootouts, avoiding the slower patches that occasionally appeared in Siphon Filter Dark Mirror. The story also steps up, adding more personal stakes for Gabe while retaining the series' espionage focus. Graphically, Logan's Shadow raises the bar, improving lighting, sharper textures, stronger water effects, and having smoother animations, making it one of the PSP's best looking shooters. 109. Juice 2 Hot Import Nights. Juice 2 Hot Import Nights brings a slick, polished street racing experience to the PSP, improving almost every rough spot from Juiced Eliminator. It keeps the series' mix of drifting, tight city courses and deep customization, but feels smoother, faster and more confident overall. The handling is the biggest step forward, with Juiced Eliminator often feeling stiff and a bit twitchy, especially during drifts, while Juice 2 improves steering response, traction feedback and drift control. The driving model's more forgiving, but still requires skillful play. The career mode is clean and structured, centering events around the Hot Import Nights tour. Progression also flows more naturally, unlocks are paced better, and Eliminator's uneven difficulty spikes are largely gone. Rival drivers still have personalities, but they're woven into the career without slowing the action. The customization system also gets a lift, with the tuning menu being easier to navigate, visual mods being more varied, and the performance upgrades feel more meaningfully connected to on-track results. Juice 2 also boosts lighting, car models and reflections, giving the nightlife theme more flair than the flatter environments seen in Juiced Eliminator. The soundtrack and presentation reinforce the Hot Import Nights vibe, tying the whole package together. 110. Star Wars Battlefront Elite Squadron. Elite Squadron pushes the PSP series further than Battlefront 2 or Renegade Squadron, offering larger battles, smoother controls and a more ambitious mission structure. It sticks to the classic formula of capturing command posts and battling across iconic Star Wars locations, but adds features that finally make the handheld version feel expansive. The biggest upgrade here is the seamless battlefield transitions. Unlike the static maps of Battlefront 2 or the smaller arenas of Renegade Squadron, Elite Squadron lets players fight on the ground, jump into vehicles and fly straight into space, all in the same mission. This creates a stronger sense of scale and makes each battle feel more dynamic and cinematic. Renegade Squadron introduced loadouts, but Elite Squadron expands them with more weapons, armor types, gadgets and hybrid classes. This being a major jump from the rigid class system in Battlefront 2, allowing players to create loadouts that actually match their playstyles. The campaign here is longer and more varied than either of the other two earlier PSP entries. Missions blend infantry skirmishes, vehicle combat, space dogfights and objective-based tasks in a more cohesive flow. AI allies and enemies behave better too, using cover more effectively and contributing more meaningfully to objectives. The vehicles here handle better, aiming feels tighter, and the overall presentation brings the portable Battlefront experience closer to what players expect from the mainline home console series. 111. Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier. Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier brings the beloved platforming duo to the PSP, with a blend of action, exploration and vehicle-based challenges. Players control the titular Jak and Daxter across diverse landscapes from lush forests to hazardous deserts, battling enemies and solving puzzles. Jak can perform acrobatic moves, use eco powers and engage in fluid combat, while Daxter assists with gadgets and comic relief. Mission structure alternates between story-driven objectives, optional collectibles and environmental challenges, keeping the gameplay varied and engaging. The Lost Frontier impresses with vibrant environments, expressive character animations and cinematic cutscenes that capture the series' charm, and the story combines adventure, humour and heroics, appealing to both long-time fans and newcomers to the series. Jak and Daxter The Lost Frontier is an awesome action platformer offering variety, challenge and personality in a handheld friendly package. 112. Gun Showdown. Gun Showdown delivers a Wild West action adventure experience, putting players in the boots of Colton White, a gunslinger navigating frontier towns, rugged landscapes and dangerous outlaws. Players take part in shootouts, horseback chases and story-driven missions, with advanced gunplay, exploration and combat being the name of the game here. Players can duel with enemies, take cover and utilise environmental objects to gain the advantage. Even without the right analog stick, the controls are adapted sufficiently enough for the action sequences, and remember on the PPSSPP emulator you can just map all them controls correctly anyway. The mission structure alternates between main story quests, side missions and optional activities like bounty hunting, providing some variety. The open world elements encourage exploration and emergent gameplay with a whole lot of western charm for a game released in 2006. And yes, that is 4 years before Red Dead Redemption. Graphically, Gun Showdown captures the frontier aesthetic with detailed towns, deserts and interiors, and the story blends western tropes with personal stakes, immersing players in a cinematic Wild West adventure. Gun Showdown is packed to the brim and is a fantastic game, and I sunk so much time into this back in the day. 113 Mod Nation Racers. Mod Nation Racers brings customizable kart racing chaos to the PSP. Players can design characters, vehicles and tracks, then race through imaginative courses filled with hazards, boosts and shortcuts. As with most kart racers, balancing speed and power-ups is the name of the game. Players can drift, boost and deploy weapons to gain an advantage, while customization allows for unique playstyles. Mod Nation Racers features colourful, stylised visuals, smooth animations and expressive characters, with the cartoony music and sound effects enhancing the playful competitive tone. Mod Nation Racers is a competent kart racer combining speed, creativity and strategy for endless handheld fun. Is this as good as a Mario Kart game? Honestly no, but it will definitely scratch the kart racing itch if that's what you're in the mood for, especially in multiplayer. 114 Warhammer 40k Squad Command. Warhammer 40k Squad Command offers up a tactical squad-based strategy game, letting players command Space Marines in turn-based battles against Orcs, Chaos and other iconic factions. Players deploy units, utilise cover and coordinate attacks across grid-based maps, with gameplay emphasising positioning, unit abilities and strategic squad management. Players must plan out each turn, considering terrain, enemy behaviours and synergy between units to achieve victory. The story-driven campaigns offer plenty of variety and escalating challenges, with optional objectives and unit customisations for extra depth. Unit models are detailed along with atmospheric environments and clean interface elements optimised for handheld play. The story here reflects the grimdark Warhammer 40k universe with plenty of tension and intensity. Warhammer 40k Squad Command remains faithful to the lore and is a great choice for Warhammer or turn-based strategy fans. 115 Bloons TD. Bloons TD is a great addition to the addictive tower defense genre, tasking players with placing monkeys, towers and upgrades to pop waves of incoming balloons. The game balances simplicity with planning, offering accessible yet challenging gameplay. And of course, being a tower defense means you will place towers, manage your credits and know just when the right upgrade needs to be deployed. Players must anticipate balloon paths, mix tower types and time certain special abilities to survive increasingly difficult waves, and each level has escalating difficulty, with every map having varied balloon paths. I will be honest here, Bloons TD is not much to look at, but the extremely addictive gameplay really shines through. This is another one of them tiny PSP games as well. After being compressed, it's only 8 megabytes, and I hate to admit this, but I have spent an embarrassing amount of time playing this game. 116 Pac-Man Championship Edition. Pac-Man Championship Edition brings the classic maze game into a fast, modern format that fits the PSP perfectly. It keeps the core pellet chomping idea, but transforms it into a high-speed, constantly shifting score attack experience that's far more intense than the original arcade style. Instead of repeating the same maze, the game reshapes layouts as you play. You clear one side, grab the fruit, and a new configuration appears on the other side, forcing you to adapt on the fly, creating a smooth puzzle-like flow where you're always reacting to fresh paths. Speed is a big hook. The longer you survive, the faster everything accelerates until Pac-Man is literally speeding through them neon corridors. The ghosts behave more dynamically too, making each run tense and unpredictable without ever feeling unfair. This game really pops with glowing colours, crisp lines and a retro-futuristic aesthetic that keeps everything readable even at top speeds. The music ramps up alongside the action too, turning each run into a high-energy loop that's really tough to put down. With time modes, score challenges and short addictive sessions, Championship Edition gives Pac-Man a new identity. Fast, stylish and built for repeat play. It successfully updates a classic without ever losing what made it truly iconic. 117 Tomb Raider Anniversary. Tomb Raider Anniversary brings Lara Croft's very first adventure back to life, with modern controls, reimagined level design and a more cinematic presentation than the PS1 original. It feels like revisiting an old memory that suddenly runs smoother and looks better. Unlike the Tomb Raider remastered collections that are essentially the original game with modern graphics, Tomb Raider Anniversary is Tomb Raider 1 but completely remade from the ground up. The PSP version trims some geometry and effects from the home console version, but the fluidity of climbing and traversal remains fully intact, giving each tomb that satisfying "how do I get up there" kind of feeling. Combat, while not the star, is cleaner and more responsive than in past portable installments. Dodging, lining up shots, and using the signature lock-on system all run noticeably smoother, with a dramatic adrenaline dodge mechanic adding flair to boss fights, replacing the old-school bullet-spongy approach with something flashier and more timing-based. What really stands out here are the puzzles and level layouts. Anniversary keeps the soul of classic Tomb Raider's giant tombs and labyrinthine ruins, but updates them with smarter clues and checkpoint placements. Some effects have been reduced for the hardware limits, but the art direction does carry everything. The audio, especially the subtle environmental cues, do a great job of setting the tone. If you enjoyed the original Tomb Raider games and you've never played this, then I would highly recommend giving it a go. 118. Transformers the Game. Transformers the Game brings the robot versus robot action of the franchise to the PSP, letting players control Autobots and Decepticons in combat racing and story-driven missions. Players can transform between vehicle and robot forms to tackle objectives, and while this one didn't review very highly, I did play this one extensively back in the day. I am certain this would still be enjoyable for a few people today. Unlockable characters and upgrades reward continued play as usual. And the story mirrors the film's plot while offering portable friendly pacing. Transformers the Game is a good action adventure, combining iconic characters, dynamic combat and transformation mechanics, and while this might not be for everyone, I would definitely say give it a try. 119. WRC World Rally Championship. WRC brings another authentic rally racing sim to the PSP, mixing quick bursts of high-speed focus with just enough realism to keep every stage tense. It captures the sport's spirit with tight roads, unpredictable surfaces, and co-driver calls that are your key to surviving upcoming corners and hazards which would be impossible when racing on instinct alone. Handling is weighty and believable. It's not arcade-style sliding, it's controlled chaos, where the right brake tap or early turn-in can save you vital milliseconds. Each global location offers a distinct look and approach, and the PSP keeps up with the speed extremely well. The championship mode adds a strategic layer through car damage and repair windows between stages. With limited time to repair your damage, knowing what to fix can really save the stage. Presentation stays clean and practical, car models look sharp, and the audio does a lot of heavy lifting. And I know there is a lot of rally games on this list, but WRC shines because it delivers an authentic rally racing rhythm, being fast, focused, challenging, and deeply satisfying when you nail a perfect stage. 120. Tekken 6. Tekken 6 brings the console fighter to the PSP with surprising accuracy, carrying over the full fighter roster, multi-tier stages and the bound combo system that defines its gameplay. Despite running on handheld hardware, it maintains the look and feel of the home version better than anyone could have ever asked for. The PSP version packs in the core modes like arcade, ghost battle, time attack and practice, and while the console scenario campaign doesn't fully make the jump, there's still plenty to unlock through customization and steady character progression. Tekken 6 pushes the PSP to its limit, prioritising sharp character models and smooth animations, while keeping the background simple enough for fast performance. This is easily one of the most polished fighting games on the system, and the PPSSPP emulator upscaling does this game a huge favour. There's also a great set of multiplayer modes here. With all that being said, Tekken 6 is an amazing entry on the PSP. 121. The Sims 2 Castaway. The Sims 2 Castaway is one of the most notable departures from the traditional Sims formula, especially when compared directly to The Sims 2. Instead of managing everyday suburban life with careers, shopping and social routines, Castaway strips all of that away and places your Sims on a deserted island where survival is the main objective. And while familiar needs like hunger, energy and social interactions still exist, the way you manage them is completely different. There are no jobs, no stores and no pre-built homes. Everything must be crafted or discovered. Player food comes from fishing or foraging, and shelters are built from natural materials, with even the most basic furniture being earned through exploration and progression rather than just bought with simoleons. A major difference here is the structure. The Sims 2 is largely open-ended and player-driven, but Castaway introduces a clear sense of direction. The island itself is filled with hidden locations, ancient ruins and objectives that slowly reveal a mystery-driven storyline, where exploration and discovery take centre stage, making the game feel more like an adventure than a life simulator. The social mechanics are also simplified, relationships still matter, but they take a backseat to teamwork and survival, shifting the focus from individual life stories to managing a group of castaways, delivering a unique experience that still keeps the charm and personality of The Sims 2 while feeling fresh and purpose-built for handheld play. 122. Viewtiful Joe Red Hot Rumble. Viewtiful Joe Red Hot Rumble is a big departure from the series' traditional side-scrolling action. Instead, this game takes the Viewtiful Joe universe and turns it into a fast-paced arena brawler, with colourful stages and a heavy emphasis on multiplayer chaos. The gameplay is all about quick reactions, flashy attacks, and knocking opponents off the edge of the stage, similar to a Smash Bros game. Matches are short, energetic, and designed to be replayed over and over again, especially with friends. Visually, the game looks great on PSP, keeping the bold comic book style intact. And while it may not have the depth of the main Viewtiful Joe titles, Red Hot Rumble shines as a fun arcade-style experience, being best enjoyed in short bursts, making it a perfect fit for handheld gaming and local multiplayer sessions. 123. Star Wars Lethal Alliance. Star Wars Lethal Alliance is an action-adventure game set in the darker period between episodes 3 and 4. You play as Rhianna Saren, a new character working alongside Darth Vader's secret apprentice. The story focuses on espionage, sabotage, and uncovering Imperial secrets, offering a fresh perspective on the Star Wars universe. Gameplay is a mix of third-person shooting, platforming, and melee combat. You'll be blasting through stormtroopers, using gadgets, and navigating industrial environments filled with traps and enemies. The controls are surprisingly smooth for a PSP title, and the game does a solid job capturing the look and feel of Star Wars. While the game isn't overly complex, it delivers a cinematic experience that feels authentic to the franchise. For fans of Star Wars lore, Lethal Alliance offers an engaging story that expands the universe while delivering solid handheld action. Even though it's not considered canon to the modern Disney Star Wars timeline, this game is still a real blast. 124. Lumines 2. Lumines 2 takes the core idea of the original Lumines and expands on it in meaningful ways without changing what made the first game work. The rhythm-based puzzle gameplay is still front and centre, but Lumines 2 adds more depth, variety and polish across the board, with the biggest improvement being its presentation. The visuals are more detailed and more tightly synced to the music, with backgrounds and effects that evolve as each track progresses, with the soundtrack itself being much larger this time around, featuring a broader mix of licensed songs and original tracks, which helps keep each session feeling fresh. Content is another area where Lumines 2 takes a step forward, including additional modes and small gameplay tweaks that give players more ways to engage, whether you're jumping in for a few minutes or settling in for a long play session. The overall pacing is also improved, with a smoother difficulty curve that eases newcomers in while still offering a challenge for experienced players. By building on the strengths of the first game and adding more variety and content, Lumines 2 stands as a clear upgrade and one of the best puzzle experiences available on the PSP. 125. Deadhead Fred. Deadhead Fred is one of the PSP's most creative and unusual titles. You play as Fred Newman, a detective who wakes up dead, literally, and discovers he can swap his head with others to gain different abilities. Each head grants a new skill such as strength, agility, or special attacks, which you'll need to solve puzzles and defeat enemies. The game blends action, platforming and puzzle solving with a dark sense of humour and a noir-inspired story. The writing and voice acting here give the game a very strong personality, making it memorable even years later. And while it flew under the radar for many players, Deadhead Fred stands out as one of the most inventive PSP titles, and still remains a true exclusive to the system, as it's never had a port to any other platform even to this day. 126. Dante's Inferno. Dante's Inferno brings brutal hack-and-slash action to the PSP, adapting the console experience into a portable format. Inspired by the first part of the Divine Comedy, the game takes players through the 9 circles of hell, each filled with grotesque enemies and intense combat. Despite the hardware limitations, the PSP version delivers fast-paced action, responsive controls, and impressive visuals. The combat focuses on chaining attacks, dodging enemies and upgrading abilities as you descend deeper into hell. While it's a scaled down version of the home console release, Dante's Inferno on PSP still captures the dark atmosphere and relentless action, making it one of the more intense experiences available on the system. 127. FIFA Street 2. FIFA Street 2 trades realism for style, focusing on flashy tricks, street rules and fast-paced matches. The emphasis is on flair. Nutmegs, wall tricks and skill moves are just as important as scoring goals. The game's arcade-style approach makes it easy to jump into while still offering depth for players who want to master the mechanics. The matches here are quick and energetic, perfect for handheld play, along with a vibrant presentation and focus on creativity. FIFA Street 2 delivers a refreshing alternative to traditional football games on the PSP, and the FIFA Street series was a real powerhouse back in the day, and there is still plenty of enjoyment to be had here. 128. Micro Machines V4. Micro Machines V4 brings classic isometric racing to the PSP with tiny vehicles and imaginative tracks. The tracks are set in everyday environments like tables, kitchens and workbenches and turns ordinary objects into obstacles. The races are fast, chaotic and highly competitive, with precision and quick reflexes being key, especially when racing against multiple opponents. It's a simple concept, executed extremely well, making Micro Machines V4 a fun and accessible racing game for PSP owners. A quick side note for this one too, the multiplayer offerings are top notch. I had a ton of fun recording the multiplayer footage for this, and I've been revisiting it for online sessions with friends ever since. Not bad for a game released in 2006, and as with a lot of games on this list, it's a true testament to the staying power and entertainment value of these titles. 129. Star Trek Tactical Assault. Star Trek Tactical Assault is a space combat game published by Bethesda, yes, the same Bethesda that does the Elder Scrolls and Fallout games, putting players in command of iconic starships from the Star Trek universe. The focus here is on issuing tactical commands during real-time space battles. You'll manage shields, weapons, cloaking devices and good positioning while engaging enemy ships across varied missions. This game appeals strongly to Star Trek fans, offering authentic ships, sound effects and tons of attacking and defensive options. You begin the first half of the game playing as the Noble Federation, taking on many races including the Romulans and the Gorn, and then move on to playing the more sneaky and aggressive Klingons with a focus on clever use of the cloaking device for surprise attacks. As the game progresses, you get promoted to bigger and better starships and use earned upgrade points on whatever systems you wish. And while this game has a slower pace compared to more action-heavy titles, Tactical Assault rewards clever use of all the ship systems, with a nice overcharge ability for weapons and shields to be used when you're in a tight spot. There's also a great set of single or multiplayer skirmish options, where you can play as any of the factions or ships seen in the main game in a giant what-if kind of battle scenario. So if you're a Star Trek fan, then honestly, give this a go. 130. Secret Agent Clank. Secret Agent Clank is a spin-off that puts the spotlight on Ratchet & Clank's beloved robot. This time Clank takes on a spy-inspired adventure filled with gadgets, disguises and stealth-based gameplay. The game mixes action, puzzle solving and rhythm-based mini-games, creating a varied and polished experience. The humour and charm of the Ratchet & Clank series is fully intact, with plenty of personality in both the writing and presentation. And as a PSP exclusive entry, Secret Agent Clank is tailor-made for the system and is a great spin-off to a legendary set of platforming games. 131. Worms Battle Islands. Worms Battle Islands sharpens the classic turn-based formula on PSP with even more upgrades over Open Warfare and Open Warfare 2. The biggest addition is Tactics Mode, which lets you set advantages before a match, like revealing enemy positions or altering turn order, adding an extra layer of planning the earlier games never had. Customization is stronger too. Beyond cosmetic tweaks, the weapon editor lets you build and tune your own weapons, giving far more control over your arsenal than previous handheld Worms entries. The campaign is also better structured, with island-based missions that mix standard battles with puzzle-style challenges with meaningful rewards. Multiplayer benefits from the new Command Room, a hub where you store tactical perks and earned gear. Although this list has 2 other Worms entries, with Worms Open Warfare 2 generally considered the best, Worms Battle Island still has more than enough extra features to make it a great Worms option on the PSP system. 132. Silent Hill Shattered Memories. Silent Hill Shattered Memories reimagines survival horror on the PSP, emphasising psychological tension and exploration over combat. Unlike earlier entries, it focuses on stealth, environmental storytelling, and the player's choices to create a uniquely unsettling experience. The psychological profiling system alters environments, character interactions, and monster behaviour based on your actions, adding replay value and uncertainty. Combat is minimal, forcing players to rely on stealth and clever navigation, while the puzzles and hidden clues maintain suspense. The game excels in the audio-visual department, delivering an extremely visceral experience. Environments of snowy streets and dim interiors, and subtle sound cues create isolation and an overwhelming sense of dread, never truly knowing what horrible creature will next come lurking out of the darkness. The pacing improves over prior handheld versions, balancing exploration, story and scares to keep the tension high. Silent Hill Shattered Memories arguably provides the best survival horror experience on the PSP by refining the series' core horror, using atmosphere, adaptive storytelling and minimal combat options, which I'm sure has scared the living daylights out of countless players. 133. Ridge Racer 2. Ridge Racer 2 refines the first PSP entry with tighter controls, improved handling, and more satisfying drifting. The track variety is expanded with new circuits, elevation changes and shortcuts that make each race feel more dynamic than the relatively repetitive layouts of the original. The car roster grows too, offering better balance between speed, drift, and acceleration, while new systems allow players to fine-tune the performance. Visuals have had a noticeable bump as well, with richer lighting, smoother animations and crisper engine sounds that enhance the arcade racing feel. Multiplayer also improves with more stable ad hoc connections and balanced races. Ridge Racer 2 has tightened controls, expansive content and polished presentation, making it a clear upgrade over the first game and a stellar entry in the Ridge Racer series. 134. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition. Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition brings the open world street racing to the PSP, letting players cruise around city streets, participate in events and customise their cars. Speed, skill and style are at the forefront, with gameplay focusing on racing strategy, vehicle handling and street-smart navigation. Players can perform stunts, evade traffic and optimise routes to win races and unlock rewards. Vehicle customization includes both personalisation and performance tuning. Events include circuit races, sprints and open world challenges, keeping gameplay dynamic and varied. Graphically, Dub Edition features detailed cityscapes, realistic cars and smooth frame rates. The audio captures engine sounds, music and city ambience to immerse players in urban racing. And Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition succeeds as a portable street racing experience, combining freedom, skill and style all in a handheld format. 135. God of War Ghost of Sparta. God of War Ghost of Sparta brings the epic action and brutal combat of the console series to the PSP and is often cited as a top 5 PSP game. Players once again control Kratos as he battles gods, monsters and his own past in a quest for vengeance. God of War Ghost of Sparta deepens Kratos' story, exploring his past, family and the events that shape the Ghost of Sparta persona. Unlike Chains of Olympus, it focuses on his personal struggles, adding emotional depth alongside brutal combat. The gameplay is faster and more fluid, with tighter combos, smoother weapon and magic integration and new finishing moves. Enemy behaviour is smarter and vertical exploration heavy level design improves upon the more linear structure of Chains of Olympus. Ghost of Sparta visually shines and is by far one of the most graphically impressive games on the system, with rich textures, detailed character models and cinematic cutscenes. The soundtrack and audio effects are also a cut above, heightening tension and making each battle and story feel more impactful. Ghost of Sparta combines a personal, story-driven narrative with refined combat and polished visuals, making this a PSP must-play, especially for fans of the God of War series. 136. Echochrome. Echochrome is a mind-bending puzzle game for the PSP, challenging players to navigate a character through seemingly impossible Escher-like environments. Perspective manipulation through logic is the key to solving each level, with the use of spatial reasoning, observation and creative thinking. Players rotate and view levels from different angles to create paths, avoiding pitfalls and reaching the goal. Timing and patience are crucial for mastering the puzzles. The levels alternate in difficulty, introducing new mechanics and visual tricks to keep gameplay fresh, and optional challenges also encourage replayability. Graphically, Echochrome presents minimalist, stylized visuals that are easy to read and enhance the illusion-based puzzles. The audio complements the contemplative, serene puzzle-solving experience. So overall, Echochrome is a fantastic puzzle game, blending visual creativity, challenge, and satisfying mental stimulation, with it being extremely unique, and this is definitely a hidden gem for puzzle fans right here. 137. Dirt 2. Dirt 2 brings off-road racing to the PSP with a fast, rugged feel that doesn't try to copy the console version but reshapes it into a punchy handheld experience. Yes, this is another rally racer, but it is more than distinct enough to warrant being on this list. The handling in Dirt 2 strikes a nice balance between grip and drift, letting you slide through corners with confidence while still feeling the bumps and rough terrain underneath. The career mode mixes rally runs, multi-car sprints and truck events, each with its own flavour. From co-driver panic calls to chaotic pack racing, it's varied enough to stay engaging without overcomplicating things. Graphically, this game pushes the PSP surprisingly hard, with sharp car models, dusty particle effects and tracks that feel textured and lively. The upgrades and tweaks here are simple but meaningful, adjusting the vehicle's feel without bogging things down in stats. The focus stays on fun, fast, messy racing, with Dirt 2 carving out its own racing niche by embracing unpredictability and energy, delivering a compact, satisfying off-road racer that feels right at home on the PSP. 138. Gangs of London. Gangs of London takes the open world chaos of the Getaway series and squeezes it onto the PSP. But instead of trying to be a tiny GTA clone, it leans into its own strange mix of crime drama, sandbox mayhem, and did they really include this kind of game modes? It's a crime game that feels gritty one minute and completely unhinged the next, in a good way. The core of the game is its gang-based story mode, where you pick one of several London crews, each with its own personality, accent, and questionable fashion choices. The city isn't huge, but it's dense, full of tight corners, alleys, pubs, and streets that feel distinctly London. There's a free roam mode where you can cause trouble to your heart's content, random mini missions, weird pub games, and even a hilariously odd zombie survival mode that feels like it escaped from another game entirely, being the kind of feature that makes you double take, then realise you're enjoying it way more than you ever expected. Driving is a mix of arcade and realism, being tight enough to weave through traffic, but sloppy enough that you'll occasionally lose control and pretend it was intentional. Gangs of London has stylised London streets that capture the British crime film vibe. I'll be honest, this one didn't review very highly, but I had lots of fun playing this. Yeah, we're 138 in and the delirium is starting to kick in. 139. Final Fantasy Dissidia. Dissidia brings the series' iconic characters into a fast-paced 3D fighting game on the PSP. Players battle using heroes and villains from across the franchise in story-driven encounters and free combat. Gameplay emphasises real-time battles, character abilities and strategic timing, where players can chain attacks, summon powers, and adapt combos to opponents' strengths, with each character having a unique style and moveset. There's so much content here, including story-driven battles, free duels and challenge modes, keeping the gameplay nice and varied. Graphically, Dissidia is amazing with detailed character models, fluid animations and dynamic arenas optimised for handheld play. Music and sound effects also bring the series' epic tone to life, with Final Fantasy Dissidia being a stellar action fighting game combining strategy, fan favourite characters and engaging combat. 140. Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles. Castlevania The Dracula X Chronicles brings the classic 2D action platforming to the PSP, with enhanced graphics, remastered music and extra content. Players control Richter Belmont as he battles Dracula's minions across atmospheric castles through a remake of the 1993 game Castlevania Rondo of Blood. Gameplay involves whip-based combat, platforming and strategic use of sub-weapons. while navigating traps, solving environmental puzzles and facing challenging enemies and bosses. Unlockable modes and finding hidden secrets reward mastery. The audio here features remastered music and sound effects faithful to the series. Another major selling point of Castlevania X is the fact that it also contains the full version of Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which is widely considered to be one of the best games ever made, with some added extras. The only thing is, it must be unlocked by playing through the main bulk of the game. That's really not a problem though with how excellent the main game is. So if you're a Castlevania fan or love side-scrolling games, then this is a must play. 141 Need for Speed Undercover. Need for Speed Undercover brings more high-speed racing to the PSP, combining open-world exploration with story-driven pursuits and cinematic missions. Players race through cities, evade cops and compete in underground events. Players can once again customize vehicles for performance and style while balancing speed and control to dominate the races. Graphically, Undercover delivers detailed urban environments, sleek car models and smooth animations optimized for handheld play. Being fairly quick here, but if you like the other Need for Speed games on this list, then I am certain you are going to love this one. 142 Patapon 3. Patapon 3 elevates the series' rhythm-based strategy formula to a new level, blending addictive drumming mechanics with deeper tactical gameplay. You continue to lead your tiny army by hitting the right beats to issue commands, but the game now introduces multiple squads, allowing for larger and more complex battles. This expands the scale and strategy compared to the first two games, giving more ways to experiment with formations, timing and unit abilities. The progression system is also richer. Units can now evolve, granting new skills and better stats, while your heroes gain additional customization options. This means you can tailor your army and leaders to your preferred playstyle rather than sticking to the presets of the earlier titles. The boss fights are bigger and more intricate as well, demanding precise rhythm, coordinated unit deployment and clever use of special abilities, with every encounter feeling more dynamic and rewarding as a result. Patapon 3's overall narrative is more expansive, fleshing out the lore of the Patapons and the struggle to reclaim their homeland from the Zigoton invaders. The visual presentation has also been refined, units are more expressive, environments are more varied and the overall animations are smoother, making battles easier to read while keeping the whimsical charm that defines the series. Meanwhile, cooperative multiplayer adds a new layer of fun, letting friends join forces to tackle challenges together, something the earlier games only hinted at. 143 Grand Theft Auto Vice City Stories. Vice City Stories takes the open world chaos of the series and delivers a surprisingly full-bodied Vice City experience on the PSP. Set 2 years before the events of the original Vice City, you step into the shoes of Victor Vic Vance, navigating a city brimming with neon lights, shady deals and colourful criminals. Similar to Liberty City Stories, this game doesn't just shrink the console version, it reimagines it with tight controls, refined mechanics and new story missions that give this game its own identity. The game keeps the familiar GTA staples like driving, shooting, side missions and exploration, but Vice City Stories adds depth with a business empire system, letting you expand your influence over gangs, protect businesses and reap rewards that directly impact gameplay. The mission variety is wider here too, ranging from bank heists to drug runs and even quirky side missions that make the city feel alive and unpredictable. Vehicle handling and combat are more polished than the previous PSP entry, making car chases smoother and shootouts less frustrating on the handheld. The weapons arsenal is robust, including classic staples and a few new additions that fit the gritty 1980s Miami-inspired vibe. The excellent storytelling here shines through in the cutscenes and dialogue, painting Vic as a flawed but compelling protagonist while exploring the themes of loyalty, betrayal and ambition. The multiplayer isn't just a gimmick either. Ad hoc modes let friends compete in races, death matches and territory battles, extending the replay value far beyond the single player campaign. It's ambitious, lively and one of the PSP's most impressive open world experiences, being a fully realised portable GTA. And it honestly surprises me just how many fans of the original 3D era GTA games have never played this absolutely amazing game that stands side by side with its PS2 counterparts and sometimes even surpasses them. I do not have enough good words for this game. 144 Pursuit Force Extreme Justice. Pursuit Force Extreme Justice ramps up the adrenaline from the first game, taking the series' signature high-octane vehicular action gameplay to new heights. You once again play as a fearless law enforcement officer chasing down gangsters across a city full of chaos. And while the original Pursuit Force laid the groundwork, Extreme Justice refines almost every aspect of the experience. One of the biggest improvements is mission variety and scale. The levels are larger with more vehicles, pedestrians and destructible environments, creating a sense of a living city to navigate. Missions now include multi-stage pursuits, high-speed freeway chases and more complex scenarios that require quick thinking, precise driving and accurate shooting, all seamlessly blended together. The controls have been polished, making vehicle handling smoother and on-foot combat more responsive, reducing frustration while amplifying excitement. New moves like swinging between vehicles or performing mid-air takedowns add tons of flair and elevate the intensity of encounters compared to the first game. The explosions feel weightier, collisions more impactful and the cityscape feels alive with traffic and pedestrians reacting to the chaos you create. Audio improvements range from engine roars to gunfire, and the pulsing soundtrack enhances immersion to give every pursuit a tangible sense of cinematic urgency. Coupled with hidden challenges and collectibles, Extreme Justice keeps players coming back for more high-speed mayhem. 145. Loco Roco 2. Loco Roco 2 continues the charming platforming and physics-based gameplay of the original, letting players guide colourful and bouncy creatures through whimsical environments by tilting the world. Players must navigate hazards, solve puzzles, and collect items while maintaining the cheerful momentum of the Loco Roco. Levels alternate between platforming sequences, musical challenges, and hidden collectible hunts, with each stage introducing new obstacles and mechanics to keep the gameplay fresh. Graphically, Loco Roco 2 is extremely unique, featuring vibrant colours, smooth animations and playful visuals optimised for the PSP. The sound effects and catchy music add a lot of personality and immersion, making Loco Roco 2 a game that almost anyone can enjoy. 146. Burnout Dominator. Burnout Dominator delivers the ultimate in high-speed arcade racing to the PSP, focusing on aggressive driving, takedowns and crash-centric gameplay, demanding speed, precision and as much aggression as you can muster. Players can perform takedowns on opponents, execute risky maneuvers and maintain boost chains to dominate races. Mission structure alternates between races, time trials and challenges, emphasising stunts and destruction with lots of unlockables to acquire. The sound design is impeccable, intensifying every scrape, crash and boost to dramatic effect. For such a high-speed game, the frame rate here must be applauded, staying buttery smooth even at the highest speeds with lots of carnage going on. I particularly love the new Dominator mechanic, where if you use a full boost meter and gather enough to fill another meter in that time, you can string boost chains for massive score multipliers. So I'd say if there's only one arcade racer you ever get to play on the PSP, then I would most likely say play this one. 147. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker brings tactical espionage action back to the PSP, placing players in control of Big Boss as he builds his mercenary army while engaging in covert operations. Players can sneak past enemies, neutralise targets silently while capturing and extracting enemy troops along the way, or engage in combat while managing base development and soldier deployment. Any soldiers you capture, build up your own base statistics which increase R&D capabilities, along with your options in the field, and can also be sent on separate side missions to gather resources. Unlike the portable ops and acid entries to this series which are considered non-canon, Peace Walker is a full part of the Metal Gear narrative, with Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes and the Phantom Pain following directly after the events of Peace Walker. Think of it as a trilogy, if you will. Graphically, Peace Walker delivers exceptionally detailed environments, character models, and cinematic digital novel-style interactive cutscenes optimised for the PSP. Audio, including voice acting and stealth cues, are also a cut above. Peace Walker was built from the ground up to be a fully fledged Metal Gear entry on the PSP, and it delivers in spades. Every Metal Gear fan should give this a go. 148. Monster Hunter Portable the Third. Monster Hunter Portable the Third delivers a major step forward for the series on PSP, refreshing nearly every system from Freedom Unite and Portable the Second. Set in the warm Japanese-inspired Yakomo village, it immediately feels more vibrant and welcoming than the harsher environments of the earlier games. I will mention real quick that this didn't actually get a release outside of Japan, but there's an incredible fan-made translation patch to make this understandable for all of us English speakers. The combat here is noticeably smoother thanks to refined animations, better hitboxes and updated movesets for every weapon. Monster encounters benefit from cleaner patterns and fairer attack ranges, making fights feel tough but less punishing than Freedom Unite's often brutal difficulty spikes. You can also bring along 2 Palico helpers with expanded abilities, and I just love being up against a tough monster and seeing my companion once again take the hit for me. Quality of life improvements are everywhere, with faster gathering, streamlined item use, clearer armor skills and more intuitive crafting trees. And when you combine that with the stronger visuals, detailed environments and a standout soundtrack, the game pushes the PSP impressively hard. Portable III succeeds by keeping Monster Hunter's depth while smoothing out all of the rough edges, offering a more polished, stylish and accessible experience over any of the prior PSP entries. I recently picked this up again, I'm about 40 hours in, it's going well. 149 Star Wars Battlefront 2 Remastered. Okay, so we're now into modded games territory with Star Wars Battlefront 2 Remastered, enhancing the classic PSP shooter with improved visuals, tons of extra maps and refined gameplay, so players can fight as infantry, pilots or heroes across more galaxy-spanning battles than any other PSP entry, featuring a map list that will make your head spin, pulling maps directly from the console versions and earlier PSP entries, as well as excellent fan-made maps from across the entire Star Wars series. Graphically, the remastered version offers updated character models, environments and effects while retaining the iconic Star Wars aesthetic. Enhanced sound design immerses players with blaster fire and explosions on top of the classic John Williams themes, with Battlefront 2 Remastered being a great mod for the portable Star Wars shooter, with so much extra content that it almost makes the official Battlefront PSP entries obsolete. 150 Wipeout Pure Special Edition. Wipeout Pure Special Edition is a fan-made upgrade mod that transforms the original PSP racer into a content-rich all-in-one package, combining every regional DLC pack from Japan, Europe and North America, giving you all the classic Gamma, Delta and Omega tracks in one place, along with dozens of ship skins and expanded team options that were never available together in the official releases. It goes even further by adding fan-restored and fan-created tracks, including enhanced versions of classic PS1 and PS2 circuits with new layouts designed to fit Pure's fast, smooth handling. These tracks offer more technical corners, fresh racing lines and significantly broaden the game's replay value. The ships also receive a big boost with restored variants, new liveries and rebalanced stats to bring back cut content and expand your choices without breaking the game's feel. Along with UI touch-ups, cleaner HUD elements and subtle performance tweaks help the expanded game run smoothly across the board. The mod even includes optional new music tracks that blend seamlessly with Wipeout's signature electronic style. The Wipeout Pure Special Edition mod is basically the complete edition the PSP never officially got, with more tracks, more ships, more style, all assembled into one cohesive, polished upgrade that massively enhances replayability while preserving Pure's iconic anti-gravity racing experience. Now, before we get to a very special modded game that I really love and didn't make nearly a big enough splash as it should have, here are 10 PSP honourable mentions in quick succession that didn't make my list but often appear on the PSP greatest lists and are highly rated across the board. I knew I would take some heat if I didn't include at least some of these on the list. So here we go then, 10 honourable mentions, quickfire. Half Minute Hero. Half Minute Hero turns traditional RPGs on the head by giving you just 30 seconds to save the world, repeatedly. Each stage is a bite-sized adventure where you sprint through towns, grind for cash, upgrade gear and race to stop an evil lord from finishing a doom spell. A rewind reset mechanic lets you buy a few extra seconds, but the time pressure is constant and hilarious. The game is fast, frantic and packed with charm, transforming epic quests into high-speed sprints while still delivering clever design, variety and tons of replay value. Ys 7. Ys 7 delivers fast party-based action RPG gameplay with Adol and his crew. diving into the kingdom of Altago to unravel ancient myths and giant beastly guardians. Battles are quick, snappy, and built around swapping between characters on the fly to exploit enemy weaknesses. The world is much larger and more open than previous Ys titles, with richer side quests, smoother combat flow, and a deeper story that mixes political tension with classic adventure charm. Every Extend Extra is a rhythm-infused, explosive puzzle shooter where your only weapon is yourself. You detonate your ship to trigger chain reactions, blowing up waves of enemies to the beat of a shifting, hypnotic soundtrack. Timing is everything. The longer and bigger the chain, the higher the score. But wait too long and you'll be vaporized instead. With trippy visuals, evolving patterns, and music-driven momentum, it delivers a stylish, arcade-like rush that's equal parts strategy, rhythm, and controlled chaos. Disgaea Afternoon of Darkness brings the over-the-top strategy RPG chaos of the series to the PSP, starring Lahal, Etna, and Flon on a hilariously unhinged quest to rule the Netherworld. Battles are deep and wild, with stackable characters, geo-panels, insane combos, and level caps that can reach into the thousands. The item world returns too, letting you dive into randomly generated dungeons hidden inside everyday objects. Packed with humour, endless grinding potential, and clever tactical depth, it's one of the PSP's most absurdly addictive strategy games. Mega Man Powered Up reimagines the original Mega Man with cute visuals, smoother controls, and redesigned stages that add new twists to the classic levels. You can play through the remixed campaign, tackle the faithful old-style mode, or even unlock Robot Masters to play as them, each with their own abilities. The biggest bonus is the level editor, letting you build, share, and challenge custom stages for endless replayability. It's a charming, flexible remake that modernises the NES classic without losing its old-school bite. Power Stone Collection brings both Dreamcast classics Power Stone 1 and 2 into one explosive package. These arena brawlers let you pick a colourful cast of characters and toss everything from cheers to rocket launchers as the stage transforms around you. Collecting Power Stones lets you unleash over-the-top super forms that turn battles into chaotic fireworks shows. The PSP version includes new modes, extra items, and 4-player wireless multiplayer, making it the ultimate portable way to experience Capcom's fast, stylish, and wonderfully chaotic fighter series. X-Men Legends Rise of Apocalypse brings the mutant team-up action to the PSP, letting you assemble your favourite heroes to battle the powerful Apocalypse and his 4 horsemen. Combat is real-time and squad-based, with abilities and combos flowing smoothly between the characters. The game improves on earlier handheld action RPGs with smarter AI, tighter controls, and a deeper upgrade system for your powers and gear, making it a portable superhero adventure that captures the X-Men's energy and teamwork perfectly. Valkyria Chronicles 2 brings the tactical RPG brilliance of the series to the handheld, combining turn-based strategy with real-time action in a vibrant, war-torn world. You command Squad 7, navigating both battlefield skirmishes and interactions that add depth to the story and characters. The game improves on the first entry with larger maps and deeper unit customization, letting you develop soldiers and their abilities more meaningfully. With its watercolour-inspired visuals, strategic combat and strong narrative make it a standout portable wargame experience. Crush is a mind-bending puzzle platformer that challenges you to rotate 3D levels into 2D perspectives to navigate complex environments. You control Danny, who must manipulate space, solve spatial puzzles, and avoid hazards while uncovering a mysterious narrative. This PSP version has sharp visuals, smooth controls, and tight level design, making the perspective-shifting mechanic feel intuitive and satisfying. Crush is fiendishly clever, delivering a unique, brain-twisting experience that really stands out on the handheld. And last of the honourable mentions, we have Persona 3 Portable. Persona 3 Portable adapts the acclaimed JRPG for the PSP, often appearing in top 10 lists, letting you balance school life, social interactions, and dungeon crawling in the mysterious Tartarus. You assemble a team of Persona users to battle shadows using turn-based combat with the innovative One More and Elemental Weakness system. The PSP version adds the ability to play as a female protagonist, opening new social links and story paths, while also streamlining exploration and combat for handheld play. With deep character relationships, strategic battles, and a dark, engaging story, it's a portable RPG with serious emotional and tactical depth. And that is the honourable mentions concluded. So on to my final game. 151 Grand Theft Auto Sindaco Chronicles. Now this one is real special. GTA Sindaco Chronicles is a fan-made expansion for Liberty City Stories that builds a completely new campaign centered on the Sindaco crime family. Instead of just simple reskins, this mod adds over 100 original missions along with voiced custom cutscenes and multiple playable protagonists that create a fresh narrative set within Liberty City's familiar streets. The mod opens up new areas and expands rooftops, alleys and safe houses to support mission variety. Liberty City here feels more alive with added gang hideouts and reworked spaces that were seldom used in the main base game, along with an expansive property system to boot, allowing players to operate an illegal business empire similar to what is seen in Vice City Stories. Gameplay is also refined with more dynamic mission designs and better balanced shootouts, making the experience feel tougher than the original PSP release. Small quality of life touches are here too, with cleaner HUD icons, improved lighting and subtle texture upgrades, helping to modernise the presentation without ever breaking the classic LCS feel. The radio stations are completely reworked as well, with over 7 hours of 1998 era music to joyride along to across multiple genres. Think of this less as a mod or upgrade to Liberty City Stories, but more of a full game made by Barcode Studio, using the original game's framework. It's truly exceptional, and I think this game has not got the recognition that it truly deserves. This is honestly a must play for a classic GTA fan, and funnily enough, most people have never even heard of it. And so, with all my favourite PSP games now covered, hopefully you've seen one or more that you'd like to try out for yourself. And feel free to tell me if I missed any of your favourites, as I know there's still many more PSP games which have not appeared in this video. You never know, if I get a lot of good recommendations then I may even make a part 2 to this video. You can also join my emulation and retro Discord linked in the description to talk all things retro gaming or to find online PPSSPP players to go online with. This video truly took an insane amount of time to make and is by far my most ambitious video that I have ever set out to complete. So please like the video if you've enjoyed it and consider becoming a channel member to help with the production of more ultra long form videos like this one that I plan to make in the near future. So let me know if you'd like to see a video similar to this covering all of my favourite PS Vita games. And with all that being said, I want to thank you endlessly for watching the video up until this point. You're all awesome, I hope you have a fantastic day. Thanks again for watching the video, and I'll hopefully catch you again very soon. Bye bye.